Encore solos the whole cast. Hey everybody, how's it going? This is the Rover Cast. We are back. We have our good friends. You already know what the deal is, but we got our boy Connor, Loba, and Zox. And of course, Life is here. This is episode 4. Let's go. CBT2 is right around the corner. It's literally like tomorrow, something along those lines, depending on what time zone you're in. Let's get hyped. Okay, so we're really happy that you all joined us today. We have a special podcast episode for you all today. Something just kind of like, get excited, kind of a feel-good podcast. You know what I'm saying? The last podcast we had was a tad bit heavy toward the end. And so today what we're going to do is we are going to do everybody's favorite thing. It's like you either love it or you hate it, kind of. Most times you'll love it, though, be honest. Tier lists. Yes, the door has been opened. It is tier list time. We're going to do a couple different tier lists today. We're going to do tier lists in terms of what we think of design. I hope you guys are excited. Just as always, we have timestamps in the description, but we'll also have like the chapters on the video. So without further ado, everybody can kind of give like a brief introduction for people who might not have seen the podcast yet. But imagine not seeing the Rover Cast, right? Like imagine being interested in Wuthering Waves and not seeing the Rover Cast. Couldn't be me. And if you all have any friends like that, save them immediately so that they don't have to live their life not knowing about the Rover Cast. It's a sad existence if we're being honest, but I believe in all of you. Let's get to it. So without further ado, Connor, you go first.
Life could never. Hey everybody, in case you don't know me, I'm Connor's Thoughts, YouTube creator, part-time streamer. I do a lot of PGR and Wuthering Waves content. I like to sprinkle in a little bit of extra here and there too, so you can come check me out on YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. I'm pretty much on all the platforms. You can find me at Connor's Thoughts. Love for you to come and hang out. I'm glad to be back with the boys.
Hello everybody, once again, Lobo Pixel Gaming here. Basically, here because of Wuthering Waves, man. This is the main content I'm going to be focusing on, especially on the channel, streaming on Twitch, TikTok as well, and excited to be here and excited to talk about the topics we have.
That was lovely, Loba. Everybody clap it up for Loba. No, I'm kidding. What's up, everybody? I'm Zox. Zox is Kun. Wua is the channel. I would call myself what you would probably call a Wuthering Waves enthusiast. So yeah, I'm really excited for the game, man. We're on Twitch too, twitch.tv/ZoxisCon. We're all over the place, but nonetheless, always excited to be back doing another pod because again, this is just more great things that we can bring you guys. So yeah, man, definitely ready to get into it.
And an enthusiast. He's an appreciator of the finer things.
Yeah, you gotta put the glasses at the
High society.
Oh, Pinky. Hold on. Yeah,
Oh, man.
Yeah,
There we go.
not using teacups but jugs.
right. Yeah, no, it's the gamer version. It's the gamer version. Oh man. Well, hello, life here. You're probably on my channel, so hey, we do a bit of everything as well. The TikToks, the Instas, all the things. Links are where the links are usually in the description. So thank you guys for coming through. Motivational gaming commentary. That's what we do here. You'll be seeing a lot more of that. Maybe you've already seen it. Maybe we've gotten some of those videos out there by this point, hopefully. If not, you'll be seeing it a lot sooner. But either way, let's get into the podcast. So the very first thing that we are going to be covering today is a tier list in regards to everyone's designs. So we're just going to talk about people's designs, what we think about them, and kind of try to make a cumulative placement. Obviously, our own individual tier lists might be different. So without further ado, yes, new layout. Yeah. Innovation. So without further ado, let's get into it, everybody. So we have these lovely faces right here. We have some bosses right here with some placeholders. And we're going to get started. So This is gosh, this is gonna be crazy. This is gonna be highly contested. Highly contested. Like, there's no getting around this. We're gonna make some potential enemies. Hopefully, the kind that stay close to you. You know.
To make enemies of the Encore community. That's my goal today.
Oh man. Oh gosh, y'all. You know, I try to keep this podcast together, and Connor is just always just trying to push away. It is what it is. All I gotta say is stay in your place down there, Connor. All right, so without further ado, we're gonna hit the rovers. All right, yes, we're starting out hot. I know a lot of people have a lot of opinions about the designs for the rovers. We're gonna get those out here today. So, ladies first, what are our opinions? And try to be as unbiased as you can now. Our DC, BA, and S tier. What are our thoughts on the female rover in just in general, like with obviously S tier being the highest tier and D tier being the lowest tier?
So and just to give context here, Life, we're talking about how we're talking about the redesigns for characters that we've seen all like the redesigns like released for, right? We're not talking about the previous versions of the design.
So basically
Okay,
going into CBT2 with the redesigns that we've seen, the main redesigns that we've seen have been female rover, male rover to an extent. Jueyuan got redesigned, and that's shown in her little profile as well. Yinlin got redesigned, and everybody knows about that. Potentially Ling Yang, because we think he's Captain Awu's redesign, but we don't know. But regardless, just on his own merits. There is one character that we're not fully sure about, and so she's been teased in different ways. But I think we're gonna maybe not speak on her too much, but we will kind of at least discuss what we have seen, because like some people might be like potential redesigns. Yeah, we'll just work with these right here. So basically from the mosquito all the way up until the magic gold puff. That's who we're gonna work with. So female rover, her current new design, same with Yang Yang because she got redesigned as well. In going into CBT2, what are our thoughts on the female rover? Is she S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier? And all free for all. What are you guys' thoughts? I'm just gonna put her at B right now, just till we actually place her.
while I am a fan of the like new boots that they've added to her on her redesign, and reworking some of those elements, I feel like broadly speaking, she still has a lot of main character energy, meaning like not super notable. Like,
Mm.
and that's not like a bad thing because, like, part of the goal is you're trying to like self-insert into the game a little bit, so you don't want to have them, too big a personality, so on and so forth. I understand, but the consequence of that is like I'm almost thinking maybe we can come back to it like a C tier, just comparatively speaking.
Whoa. Okay.
I'm gonna be really critical here. Like S tier means a lot, man. Like,
Yeah, no, I feel you, but I didn't think C. Sheesh. Like, okay, all right. We got a
not
C.
everybody can be B tier. Come on,
Hey.
we gotta rank them.
All right. What about you, Loba?
Going based off design, right? There was some improvements, like a few changes, not so much, but something that I've been noticing a lot, like comparing it to like the other characters, like their design is very just like more on the black palette with like little to no color, like a little bit of yellows here and there. But specifically for female MC, she got a pretty nice upgrade when it comes to like the facial areas. So she got like the red eyeshadow, which a lot of people were showing a lot of appreciation for. And I think they're adding that towards a lot of the women in the game. So it is kind of cool. She kind of stands out a little bit, at least in the face. It does it stands out a bit more. But I think if I'm going to put her on the list based off design, her design is kind of plain. I don't have a problem with it. I think it's great, but it doesn't stand out as much as the other characters. There could be a specific reason for that. Not sure, but I think she's good on B tier. I think she's fine there.
Okay.
Fair.
I honestly feel like with the female rover, she's definitely like overall getting a lot more line or love than the male rover. And I think it's like there's a few reasons for that, but for sure, like I agree with the aspects of like her design is definitely It's not that it's necessarily lackluster, but it's just that it kind of for me fulfills the base kind of design of the game, right? Like this
Mhm.
is like the base. This is where we're starting. So I think everything we're gonna start seeing from here on out with characters, or even the arc of maybe the rover becoming something else, over time, we'll be able to actually have a deeper appreciation of those changes versus like if they just came out and it's like the best design ever, it's going to be a lot harder to appreciate a new design coming in. So I honestly would say I kind of agree with Cotter on the C tier. Um I do agree on the C tier because I do feel like it is like purely the base, and I don't think that it's bad, but I also think that it's the beginning. So it's not going to be, for me personally, it is giving that like, oh, I kind of expected that vibe versus like, whoa, that's amazing.
Just because we're saying C tier doesn't mean like we don't like the design.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm
very
just thinking about it in terms of like hierarchy of who I think is better. And if I just like
comparatively.
look at that bottom section and I'm trying to think who would I place above the rover?
almost
Spoiler,
everyone.
not a lot. I like or sorry, below the rover. Sorry. Who would I place
Oh yeah,
below the
yeah,
rover?
yeah.
Not a lot,
Probably
yeah.
nobody.
Honestly,
So
I
that's why I'm
feel
like,
you. I respect it. I respect it. So for me, I used to think she looked awesome, and then they made her hair less fluffy. Like they made her hair more straight. I loved the curly design, like the volume that she had in her hair, and then they kind of changed it to make it look more flat. And so, which is, is not like there's definitely some really good looking characters with flatter hair. But I just thought it was nice. I just thought it looked different. It had that little bit of bounce to it. And so if she had the same one, I would have put her higher. But because they did change it, all right, this is what I'm thinking. She's either at the top of C or the bottom of B. Because I would, like I said, I would have probably put her like at least B, right? But it seems we're kind of split. So like we'll put her for now, we'll put her at the top of C with because it's not really like strong opinions of B. It doesn't seem from us, even from me and Loba. So we'll put her at the top of C for now. Depending on how this shapes out, we'll put her. I know, right? We'll put her at B. Gosh, sheesh, we starting out hot.
Yes, first
Um,
character already.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest, man. I'm
yeah,
not gonna hold any punches here.
I'm kind of
I'm gonna
scared
try
now.
not to hold back either. I'm gonna
No,
try to
yeah,
be as
absolutely,
unbiased as
absolutely.
possible, you know?
Male rover. Now, to be 100% honest with you all, in the closed beta test one, I tried female rover. So in this one, I'm going to try male rover. I think the male rover looks cool personally. And now, mind you, that's in comparison to some of the other protagonist characters that I've seen. I just thought he was like he looked a lot more mature by comparison to some of the other male in this space, right? And so I appreciated that much about him. I think he looks cool. Is my point. Is he have the most amazing design? Not necessarily, but I think he looks cool, But once again, as Connor so eloquently stated, this is comparison. So D tier doesn't even mean bad. It just means if I can lift 50 pounds and the other guy can lift, 150 pounds, he can lift more than I can. Doesn't mean I can't, doesn't mean I'm, not capable. Just, it is what it is. So, Mel Rover, everybody. Let's break it
Uh,
to him easy.
I feel like with Mel Rover, for me personally, and I'm just gonna say his tier off rip. I'm gonna give you a reason, but he's D tier for me. And the reason that is because I think that there's this like generic design that you kind of see across a lot of like anime based or anime style games. Freaking Kirito from Sword Art Online. We got what's his name from Kenneke from Tokyo Ghoul. You got like I could go through so many genres where there's characters that look like him, right? And so it's not that his design is bad, it's just that it's not anything necessarily different. So again, trying to separate the look from the combat of the character, if I was just focusing on the look, he falls into that super generic, like, and I even feel like that's kind of why the female rover is being pushed a little bit more because she's still kind of base, but not exactly 100% just this generic character. Not nearly as much. And we just see that male protags usually tend to it's either the really dark short hair or brown short hair, or it's like it's always that. It's just that. So that's why I gotta say he's D tier. I know the chat's gonna murder me.
I'm in a pretty similar vein. I don't know if I'd jump all the way to D, but at the very least, like he's lower C. Like at the very least, like he's definitely not as unique or as well designed as the female Rover at the very least. So if I'm using that as like my measuring stick here, like he's either low C. If Zox is passionate about D, I'm not gonna fight him on it, but I would at least be low C.
No, listen, man. I'm not gonna fight anyone else on what they think either, man. Listen, hey, if he's not higher than her, I think I'll be okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say for MC like male Rover, like the only reason why, I mean, I think D's kind of low, but I'm picking C. I would have picked B, but this is the thing that I would want changed in his like design that will make him B. Like, so MC Rover has his jacket, right? But it's like half cut. And I personally don't like it. I think it looks weird and awkward. If his jacket was longer, I think he would be on a solid B for that design. But since it's cut and I think it just looks a little weird, I don't like it. I'm leaving him on C for that.
The problem is they didn't show his abs. That's the problem.
There we go.
Honestly, for me, and this is no disrespect to Chinese culture, okay? No disrespect. I'm not the biggest fan of the rat tail. If they removed the rat tail, I would have like Genshin's protagonist with that oddly gigantic rat tail thing that he's got going on. I was so happy when Honkai Star Rail's dude did not have that. It was just a short hairstyle. And I would have honestly, like, if it was no rat tail, like, I actually think it looks okay on the female Rover, believe it or not, but I'm just not the biggest fan of it on the male Rover. So I guess the real question now at this point, everybody, is he going above or below her?
He's below, easy below.
I would say below too.
We're talking D low C, no shot. He's above her. No,
okay. Just for separation purposes, we'll put him in D. Okay.
Yikes.
Next on the list, and I want to make this statement because I've seen some things in the community where different people were saying like, oh, you know, all the women were getting redesigns. How come the men didn't get any redesigns? I personally think the reason why is because I think the male designs are already really good. I'm not even gonna lie. I think the male designs were thought of before the female designs. I think they really put a lot of effort in to make sure that those were good first. Because let's be honest, if you looked at Jiyan day one, bro looked amazing day one.
Yeah.
Right? Now, to be fair, like Mortefi did get redesigned. He got redesigned sooner. We saw some of his older stuff and he got redesigned sooner. So I think part of the reason why we're not seeing a lot of the males get redesigned is and mind you, we did see potentially Captain Aalto get redesigned, but I think it's because they put a lot more effort into the men. Like you see Chixia went through like 18 billion different redesigns. Bailian, who's now Baizhi, got a couple redesigns. So it's like, I really think they played a lot of attention into the male characters, more so than the female characters, honestly, because maybe they just felt like those were the ones they definitely need to get right. So just kind of on that.
Yeah. Whoever's doing the male designs at Kuro deserves a raise.
Based.
You about to say something, Connor?
Except for the MC. Just to reiterate too, one final point. We're talking about some of these things because we talked about how feedback during betas is important.
100%.
You know, this is some of our feedback. Male MC.
This is still beta.
Basic. Little basic.
Little basic.
All right. On to the next one.
So next one. Gosh, I want to mix it up a little bit. I don't want to just do all 5 stars. So even though they technically honored glorified 5 stars, let's hop into the 4 stars. So and I'll try to do it like male female. That way, we have a very mixed group. So honestly, we have the potential to do that, which is pretty awesome. So let's do Chixia. Chixia is somebody who got quite a few redesigns, as we said. So what are our thoughts on Chixia? Like I said, I put everybody in B tier before we decide where to fully place them. Let's start with you, Loba.
I'm trying to be unbiased because I don't like her playstyle as much, but I'm not
Challenge
trying to
impossible.
Yeah, I'm not trying to go based off the playstyle. So we're really strictly talking about design. For sure, like from the old design that they did, big upgrade, because like her old design looked very plain. Like it was just like, it almost resembled Tifa from Final Fantasy VII. That was the old design. It really looked similar to that. So I like the newer design. It's not my like favorite, but she does have a lot of detail, lots of reds. She looks kind of like sporty, like very, like she's like always like she wants to be outside, active, stuff like that. That's like what I get from the design, But if I were to put it somewhere, not being like my favorite, I would probably say C. Yeah, you know, like I think that's okay. And I don't know if she still has the bandages, because I know for Yang they took out the bandages. I don't remember right now if she has bandages on her or not. I kind of like the bandage look. I think it looks cool, but I'm not sure if she still has it. I haven't really paid attention too much on that. But yeah, I will keep her on C. Yeah.
Look, I'm gonna make my biases clear. I have always, for some reason, gravitated to redheaded characters as just liking them more. I don't know why. I don't know what happened in my childhood that made me this way, but there is something there that I've just always liked redheaded characters more so in anime. It's just, I don't know. That's just the reality of it. And I do really like Chixia's design overall. I don't know if I would go. I don't know if I would say C. C feels a little low to me, but actually, I would say she's like a pretty healthy B. I'd probably put it
Mm.
at, where it's like, again, nothing. There's nothing necessarily like groundbreaking the design that I'm like, oh, this element is so unique that really defines this character. There's not quite anything in Chixia's design for that, but overall, the aesthetic and the appearance and design, and what you already commented on there, Loba. Like for me, I'm like a healthy B. I think a solid B.
With bias considered. She does have bandages, by the way. They're red bandages, and I am a 1,000,000% in agreement that I think the bandage design is amazing. And that goes for all characters. I loved when I saw the different bandage designs. I thought they were really creative. But yeah, so yeah, she does have bandages. All right, what about you, Zox?
Honestly, I say with like just seeing how she's evolved to where she's at now, I feel like she's definitely massively improved look wise. I think she actually has an identity. I think that that's like the biggest thing. Like and it's like something I seen a while back, kind of talking about how there was just kind of too many characters of the same palette. For the female cast, it was just like, you weren't really getting anything different. So I think, no pun intended, she kind of spices things up, you know? So it's like you gotta get that little element. And I feel like I agree with her being in B, because it's like, again, there are other redhead characters, but amongst them, she's definitely not like this terrible looking character. I feel like she kind of brings that like youthfulness, kind of like adventurous kind of like feel to the design that she has. But I also feel like there are some other characters that look pretty good too. So I would say for her, B tier for me.
Yeah, I'm looking at the redesigned image because I think I was looking at or I was mentally remembering her older design. And actually, I'd even like push it up. I would say like high B, like even like borderline A for me. But
Your
that's probably a
bias
little bit
is
of bias coming in
showing.
there.
All right, listen. So just for clarity, Lobo, what were you again?
I was at a solid C.
Solid C. Zox, you were.
I was B just in
You're
general.
B.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna put her a B as well. I think she has a really amazing design. To be like, I think it's really good, but I also just think a lot of their designs are really good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just think they're so good, and I'm just looking at her now, and I'm just like, yeah, no, she's gonna be awesome. She's gonna be really enjoyable to play as. Really enjoyable, kind of just see as the story progresses. Like she's going to be fun. Like without a shadow of a doubt, looking at her, experiencing her gameplay, it's going to be a great time. That's the case for a lot of the characters too. So, like I said, comparatively, I think B solid. B is solid. Okay, everybody's favorite person to talk about, the big man on campus, Aalto in the building. What are our thoughts on this majestic magician?
Oh man. I gotta start. I gotta start. Okay. Listen, let me
Do
tell you
it. Do
something.
it.
There's just something about the strands of hair he has. No, I'm kidding. Honestly, this guy, honestly, for me, I feel like looking back at like CBT1, I was so upset that I could not play with this guy because I just ran out of time. And he, for me, was like one of the flair characters. Like he just kind of has that anyway from just how he plays. But I felt like the design for him kind of fit what they were trying to execute combat wise. And I think that that's also like a really, really big tie in when you're trying to make a character, is how does it correlate to every other aspect, not just like how they look, but their personality, how they might play. And I felt like for a lot of the characters, with him being as expansive as he was movement wise, they really did give him a fit that I felt like was like super, super fitting for movement. I feel like in terms of how much I liked it, for me personally, I would say he design wise is somewhere at like a strong B. like low A. He's like somewhere around there for me. It's also kind of like still like the white hair characters. I'm not gonna lie, I have a bias with that. So
Same.
yeah, white hair characters are just like they're always so cool to me. But if I was just purely basing it off of the design that we got for him, yeah, he's like like I said, a low A, high B for me. And if I had to really like stick to a category, he'd probably be B. He'll probably be B at that point.
Do I take a shot at this?
Yeah.
Or
Oh,
Connor?
go for it, dude.
Yeah.
No, you got it. You got it.
So okay, because I have to pull it up to look. So all right, so for Aalto, oh man, it's so hard. I was gonna say in between high B, low, and like C, like around there, because for two reasons. Actually, one reason. The number one reason is if we're going, man, but it has to do with a little bit of combat. I hate to say it because they changed his ultimate. So his old ultimate was his finger as like the gun, and then they changed it to the actual gun. I liked the finger better. I thought it looked cooler. But I don't know if that's design. Does that count as design or no?
I would count that as design. I'm considering design like the overall, like, let's say like illustration and elements to the character, but that would also cross into like animations and like overall presented personality to the design. Not necessarily full story and full combat experience, but like the visual aesthetics you get when playing the character.
Yeah.
Sure.
The second reason I was gonna say why I could show a lot of appreciation. I like his hairstyle a lot. Like, because he has like, you know, it kind of feels like that man bun kind of vibe, you know, soccer player kind of vibe, you know, and I like characters, especially we don't get a lot of men with long hair in these types of games. I feel like with like the ponytail kind of look, I don't see it as much, and I want to see a character hopefully in the future where it's like a actual man bun, you know, like because I got the man bun too, you know, so like I would really like to see a character like that. But for Aalto,
Lobo just wants to self-insert.
Yeah,
I was about to say.
I really want that so bad. But Aalto's overall design is clean, like the black and white look with like a small like pinch of like nice khaki yellowish in there. Really makes them pop up a lot. And I would keep them on B for me. You know, overall, I think B is pretty good.
Yeah, I probably would keep him on B. I wouldn't go as low as C. I was kind of flip-flopping back and forth between like, would I put him above Chixia or would I put him below Chixia? I think where he is right now, actually, I'm pretty happy with, to be honest. I was looking at his design again. I think if anything, and I know some people aren't going to like this, I think I would love that some of those colors you were talking about, Loba, like actually to bring them up a little bit more. I'd like to see, I like the contrast of the characters being more bright and vibrant in a more muted environment to help them stand out more, like we've seen with some of the elemental effects. So I think I'd like to see him pop just a touch more in terms of
Would
that.
you say that he blends in too much in the environment, right? Is that what you're kind of pointing out?
Yeah, like the colors that he has on him, it's a little too earth tony that it's just like, it's not quite there. So that's why I'm like, I think overall his design, the let's say the clothing and the fabric like looks good. The color probably could use a bit of an adjustment for my personal taste. So that's why I'm like healthy B. Like right where he is probably good.
For me personally, I really like his design. I think it's really good. And like I said, I'm kind of biased to like the long hair sort of thing. And mind you, I like characters with shorter hair too, but I like the white hair, and I just think he looks really cool. You know, like he's got a very cool guy look. I think he executes what exactly they were going for with him. I think he just, like I don't really have an issue with what their choice was. I think they executed it well. And gosh, like I would say he's either high B or A personally. I just like, as far as like, you know, the guys are concerned, like I just think he's got a really cool design. And I think about like all the guys as well. And I know we're not doing like purely like guys, girls, but to a degree we sort of are. He's like really cool. So like high B, low A. What are we thinking?
I don't know if he hits A for me, man.
Okay.
Like that's not a hill I'm gonna die on, but like
okay. High B.
High B,
We'll give him high B. All right. So next up, we'll switch it back up. We'll start with the guy this time. How about we can do Mortefi? Let's start with you, Connor, again. Let's go. What are you thinking?
Why? Because he's got red hair.
Exactly.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay. I'll save the red hair to the end. I really like Mortefi's design in terms of like the illustration and artwork that we have for it. He's got a really good blend between like Colonel Mustang from Full Metal Alchemist, and like I don't know, a little bit of extra edge added. And what's his name from Fairy Tale, the main character, the like
Natsu.
fire
Natsu, yeah.
Natsu
Natsu.
Dragneel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like it's like a blend
Also
between like
Razor's voice
Natsu.
actor.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, he's like a great blend between like Colonel Mustang and Natsu with like the dragon aesthetic mixed with like this like edgy like scientist. He's got the lighter. Like I really like his overall style there. That like I kind of vibe with it, not gonna lie. And that's not even taking the red hair into account. Like if it was blue and it was like a blue dragon thing going on there, I think I would still have very similar feelings about that. Now bringing in the red hair, I think he's pretty great. And from now the in-game model conversation, I know is a little bit different too. Like with his big like scientific coat, I know not everyone loves like the overall look. It can feel a little more flat when you're looking behind the character and all you see is this cloak all the time, and a lot of the detail is on the front of the character. But I at the very least, I don't think personally I would accept anything less than a B. I might even push him to A personally though.
Yeah, I feel like honestly, I'm gonna have to stand on business with that one, man. My boy Mortefi is A, man, easy, easy. Now, here's the thing, right? I okay, more bias. Like Connor has the red hair thing. I got a thing for dragons, man. And they gave him the flame like dragon arm, and I was like, oh, that's it, you know. So I feel like that was like a huge play into like character design without trying to or not trying to make it too overdone. So they tried to really like give him something unique, it seems like, without it being like this, like, because if you even look at like some of the previous designs he had the dragon tail, like he was like almost completely a dragon, you know? So they kind of like toned it down so that he still could fit in the universe with his like again his like few unique traits. I like the glasses. I feel like the hair has toned down quite a bit. So even though he's this like professor-esque character, beforehand his hair was just all over the place. Yeah, he looked like more mad scientist versus like now he looks a little bit more toned down. He might still do some crazy stuff, but it's controlled. So I feel like overall, even just down to just again, like with the coat idea, I feel like the coat can present a lot of great aspects for movement. And I feel like those are kind of like the things that some of the coolest characters, I think back to like shows I like with Naruto, like Minato, for example, like he had the long coat on. So it's just all in how I think it's dressed up with other stuff. And so I feel like they just did a really good job with that. So yeah, I agree with Connor on that 100% with the A.
I was looking at his design again too, and the way you can see like the dragon scales kind of like poking out from like behind like his shirt there. That like it looks so cool, man. It does look so cool. I'm down for A.
All right, Loba, let's hear
I
it.
was gonna say B, but I started changing my mind as I was hearing the answers. I think I will go with A as well, mainly because his design is like on his skin, you know, as opposed to like the actual clothing. His clothing is more like black and white. He has a little bit of red tones like in the middle area where he's like wearing something, but I like that the red stands out from like his scales, you know, compared to like other characters. I think he's the only one that has like this type of like design on his actual skin. I think it looks cool. And the number one thing that I love about his whole design, which is I think what's gonna make me stay on solid A, is his lighter. His lighter even has a cool design on it, and like it's like part of him. And another thing, his like whole like he gives me a doctor vibe too. So I'm assuming maybe he's a doctor. He looks like a doctor.
He's
or
a scientist.
Yeah.
He's a scientist.
So maybe he's, you know, trying to come up with like a cure or something for, you know, something in there. I don't know. But overall, I think it's cool. I think A is solid.
I'm not gonna lie, everybody. I'm gonna have to be the dissenter in this group.
The squeaky wheel. All right.
I personally like Aalto far more, but I think that's just because like I vibe with it. I vibe with it personally. I like the cool kind of aspect to him. I like the way his hair is. I like Mortefi as well, mind you. But Mortefi, his gameplay is what got me on him. It was not his design. And mind you, I am a huge fan of Mortefi from a gameplay perspective. Huge fan. But yeah, just like I think he's a cool looking dude. I think the concept is cool. Like I said, I just think I like Aalto more. And this is a community tier list. There's a Rover Cast tier list, not a life tier list. So it looks like he has the gracious position of being placed in A tier.
I was gonna say A tier or We Riot.
So yeah, all right. Next up on the list, let's do fan favorite Yang Yang. All right, y'all. I know a lot of these. I know a lot of these were like, contentious perhaps. I think this one's going to be very contentious. I think people are going to be going to bat for Yang Yang. But let's hear it. Like I said, we're just purely based on design, comparison, etc.
All right, Life, you kick us off on this one. You take the hit.
Okay. I like Yang Yang. I like Yang Yang a lot. She keeps that fluffy hair that Rover lost. I think, to be honest with you, I've heard a lot of different opinions, and I think some people are gonna see Yang Yang and think she looks plain. I'm just gonna be honest. I think people are going to enjoy her as a character once they get to know her, but just from an overall design perspective, I think a lot of people are gonna kind of look at her and just kind of think it's a little bit more on the plain side. And I personally don't think that that's an unfair statement to make. So if I were just to say like design purely, mind you, I love her little beret. I think it's adorable. I like I said, I like the fluffiness of her hair. I like the feathers. I'm thinking low A, high B personally. Like, and then it should be told like that hits me because I do really like Yang Yang. But when I look at it like at an overall perspective, comparing to all the characters, if you didn't know who Yang Yang was and you just lined everybody up, how many people would be like, oh, yo, sick. Like, I love it. I don't know. So I'm going to get, So actually, I'm not going to move her because like I said, I keep everybody at B till I move. But I would say high B, low A.
You can tell Yang Yang is probably like Kuro's like favorite character and is really important to the representation for the game because I think she's the character who's had the most redesigns. She's been redesigned like 4 times. Not all of them huge redesigns, but like definitely some tweaks and adjustments along the way that they're really trying to get her right. Personally, actually back to the other conversation, I liked the bandage version more. I kind of liked the aesthetic of the bandages and stuff being there. I'm on board with the let's call it the upper deck buff that she received. Like she was nerfed and then she got buffed again, and like I'm a fan of it. I just would like it more with the bandages. Overall, this might sound mean, but if you played a lot of anime games like this, she's got companion energy, meaning like she's just kind of the person that adventures around with you through the game. So like she's still great. She's a great looking character, but as somebody who's not super biased by the story, because I did not play through like CBT1 or anything, like she's great, but by no means is she like top tier. So like, yeah, I think B's fine.
You'd be willing to go to C?
No, I don't know if I'd be willing to go to C. I definitely think she's better than the Rover. Than the female Rover. Like,
I mean, she can still be high C.
A grade above that. No, I feel like low B. I'm feeling pretty good about a low B.
Okay.
I don't know what the other guys think.
Yeah, I feel like with her character design, even with like the changes they made, they were like very subtle. So she hasn't really changed as much compared to like obviously like Mortefi, for example. Like that man became a whole different character, or even I think Jueyuan. They just completely changed her outfit. But I feel like the main thing with her is that they tried to incorporate a lot of like I'm very particular at paying attention to like the edging or like the actual like detailing in like a character's clothing. And they have like a lot of like drapes and like different things coming off of her clothes. And yeah, I kind of agree with Connor on that. She does give companion energy, but I also feel like that was maybe the goal they were going for, which I guess kind of means that they're doing something right in that regard. But I do agree, like I feel like she is like a B tier character, even possibly because again, it's like one of those things where I feel like even though she's not as vibrant as some of the other characters, for the blue hue that they decided to go with, it's actually still really well done. Because I mean, it's definitely, it could be worse. I feel like overall, for me, she's like a B. I feel like she's B.
And I didn't
also, can
say
we just
this.
Pull Encore out of S tier real quick. Mind if we just,
she's just occupying it. She's occupying it until we until the end, you know. So no, but I was gonna say I also was thinking the same thing. I didn't say it, but I was like, it kind of like that, you know, girl next door sort of vibes or whatever, like very kind of like homely, which is not obviously not a problem. But yeah. So what about you, Lobo?
I was gonna say that a lot of you touched on a lot of good stuff about her design. I personally think it looks better than CBT1. Like it's just like more vibrant, more lively. as before. Like I feel like the blue was a little too dim. Like it didn't stand out as much. So for sure, her redesign is a lot better. Like I prefer no bandage. I think the no bandage is fine. Even though the bandage did look good, them taking it out still, I think it looks fine. The thing that stood out the most for me in her design specifically, and there's probably going to be a reason for that in the lore side of things, is like the tips of her hair, like at the ends of it have like, they look like feathers. So I like that a lot. I think it's cool. It shows a little bit of like uniqueness, and like whenever she does attacks, like feathers pop out, you know, and they're showing something there, something very important. So I like that about her design. Like she has like this weird bird feather vibe to her, like for a reason. And like, she's like an arrow character. So like it represents her pretty well. So yeah, I will keep her on B. I think she's a solid B. Yeah.
All right, cool. So we'll keep her at B. I would say I'll put her. Yeah, we'll just keep her here. All right. So next up, let's do. Oh, this will be fun. How about we start with Jueyuan Loba?
Okay. Jueyuan, a big glow up for sure from CBT1 to CBT2. CBT1, she looked like Sailor Moon. Like she was literally like, I thought she was Sailor Moon. And then the newer design, damn, I gotta look at it, but it does look a lot more like she looks like a forest. Like she literally reminds me of like a forest, or like she's giving me like mushroom Smurf vibes. I don't know how to explain it, you know? And I think it looks cool. It's very bright and cool. I'm curious to see like where they go with that forest greenery design, like with other characters. Like what are they gonna do with that? You know, she's pretty cool. I think it's a solid B for the upgrade that they've done, because it does look a lot better than it did before, for sure. Before, I think people were complaining about like either her shoes or something. I don't know what it was. I don't know if she's barefoot now. I see. I have to look at it, but I don't know. No, she's not. Okay. So yeah, I will keep her on a B. I think it's solid. You know, B is good.
Yeah, I feel like one of the big things that like I was like kind of in agreement with her was as far as her changes and where she's at now. She went from like looking like a spaceship character to
That was the comment
now-
I was like, it was the boots. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
She literally had like the planet, like she was about to go to outer space to the moon. Like it didn't fit the environment. And I think that that's also another really important thing, is that within that universe, like the character actually looking like they're from that place. And so I feel like one of the big things that she has now, I would say for me personally, she's an A tier at this point with her final design, because it's more of like she's the life of the planet in a sense. Like she's like that earth, that very earthy unit, but she's not dull. So she still has that vibrant green, the yellow. They kind of went with on her head. I think it's like a bow now. So it's like a bow or bandana or something like that.
Her new one is a bow. Her
Yeah,
old one
it
was
is.
goggles. She actually has a new redesign. If you saw in the dev update, the 9-month thing,
Yep.
she has a brand new design now with a bow. It kind of looks like bunny ears a little bit. One's
Yep.
green, one's white.
Yeah, they
But
completely.
yeah,
Oh, I need to see that.
yeah, check it out. Yeah.
It makes her look totally different, dude. And you'll probably change your score on her too, because it makes her look more like she looks like she's a part of that universe.
Like
now.
an earth sprite, kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. More like kind of like almost like a, I don't want to say Tinkerbell, but yeah, basically like that.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah,
fairy
that's actually
sprite,
good.
yeah.
That's a good like analogy. Like that is
yeah.
that's kind
So-
of like what I was thinking too. Yeah.
Yeah, so while Connor's kind of looking at that and refining his position on it, I am of the opinion, personally, I think she's A, easy. Yeah, I mean, truth be told, like I said, I don't want to kind of belabor the point, but I think she looks amazing. I liked her CBT1. I like the purple that she had in CBT1. They took that out. I thought it was really cool, but I just like her as a character as well. I'm be honest. And I'm trying to like keep that. Like, so we're talking about design. Like, I think she's just a very cute character. Like her voice lines were awesome. Like, me and my wife would always joke because she has this voice line. She was like, "Is that a new species never seen?" It's like she's like a new species never seen before. It's just like really vibrant. I just thought she was awesome. Playing as her, and like I said, I'm trying to keep it just in terms of design, but it's just overall like the Vine aesthetic that she has with her kid, like just really well made, honestly. And like I said, I actually do. I appreciate the design changes that they made from when we first saw her to where she is now. I think she just does her thing very well, basically. Like I said, in terms of what they were going for, if we're just basing off that, I'd honestly say S tier. Just being honest, if we're going based on like what was the goal that you were going for and did you execute on that goal? But yeah, like I said, I would say solid A.
Can I
Solid A.
switch mine to A?
Because
I just started noticing just really quick.
Yeah.
Her design is the brightest design out of any other character.
Yeah.
So just based off of that, I'm gonna give her an A because a lot of people say that the character designs are dull and like plain. And boring.
Yeah.
So just based off that detail,
And
I'm
as the
getting her an
game progresses, and like mind you, I love the darker characters than the darker character designs, but she's going to stand out of everybody, like you said.
100%.
She's forever going to be that character where it's just like you're just hoping, like, can Jueyuan please get here? Because I know if she's here, things are gonna be okay. At least you hope so, right?
Yeah, exactly.
you hope so. And so, but yeah, like that's kind of where I'm looking at it. Like I just think she executes what her goal was really well. And similar, to be honest, similar to, I don't know if Connor said it, about Yang. Jueyuan got the most redesigns, like just about as many redesigns as
She's
like
had
some of these,
three.
as
I
like
think she's had
Chixia.
three.
Yeah, as Chixia. Just in terms of like how many redesigns somebody's gotten, like she's gotten the same amount of redesigns as Chixia.
Yeah, quite a few of the characters that have had redesigns had like their alpha version, CBT1 version, and now have been redesigned for CBT2. So most of the mainstay characters have gone through at least like 3 revisions. I think it's Yang who's had 4 though.
Yeah, she has. She has more,
of, like the
more than
minor
everybody.
tweaks and adjustments. But okay, look. Here's what I'm struggling with, boys, because we're getting into personal preference here. I don't really care about kid-like characters.
I don't either,
in games like this. Like that's what I'm struggling with here. Like if I'm going from like purely from an artistic standpoint, I almost went in on the CBT1 design, so I'm glad I double checked on the CBT2 there. If we're looking at her from like an artistic perspective, like everyone said, like that fairy sprite, Tinkerbell-esque kind of a design, and from an artistic standpoint, I'm like, yeah, like I think you do well hitting that. But from like a tier list of like, do I like the design in this game as well? That's a contextual piece that I bring into it. Like personally, I don't really care. Like I like that. So that's where I'm like wrestling with my like measure of the design is well done and well executed for what the design is, but I don't think I personally really like the design or care to play the character. So that's what I'm trying to weigh
I mean,
here.
that's totally fine. Like I said, this is our tier list. Keyword
so like
our.
honestly,
So if that's how you feel about it, then we'll consider that within the tier list. Yeah.
When you guys were like hinting at like an S tier, I'm sorry, no shot S tier personally. Like that is a hill I will die on. No shot she's S tier. I personally would still say B, but that's being subjective about like, design preferences and characters that I want to play. I would say B. If everybody's feeling strongly about an A for the design portion of it, okay, I will acquiesce and be comfortable with an A, but no shot S. I will die.
Like I said, I wasn't literally going to put her in S. I was just saying, I think that in terms of like, if we're looking straight at like your goal and did you hit that goal? Is there something in the goal that you had placed that I could think, well, that would have been better if you did it this way? So type of thing. And that's kind of where, and mind you, this isn't like a tier list created purely on that metric, but I was more so just making a comparison, kind of like if we were to use, and this is just me personally, if we were to use like Nahida from Genshin Impact, I thought her design was like very lacking. Just being honest. I still to this day don't think her design is that interesting. I think it's like super boring. She's an amazing character. Most of her design is like in her kit, like her attacks and her ultimate, but just the way she looks, I was so disappointed, just being honest. So I was just like, but like her, it's just me. I think she solos Nahida, like design wise. I think she solos. And so that's kind of where I'm getting at. Like, if your goal was to make like an earthy sprite to her character, I think she does a great job at it. And so, yeah. But anyway, okay, cool. So, hey, next up, we have, I know this is going to be fun.
S tier. S tier. S tier.
It's over. It's over.
S tier. S tier.
Yes.
Shoot the moon, baby. Shoot the moon.
There is no, like, I can't even, like, I can't argue I was going to say the same thing. No one can argue this. His design is too clean.
You mean to tell me there's a character in this game that's got the name of one of the most famous anime characters ever, the design aesthetic of Sephiroth from Final Fantasy Advent Children, and with a JoJo stand? Boys, we're printing money here. Of course he's S tier.
This is a
Fantastic.
non-question. With that being said, because like I said, we got a lot of characters to go through. I won't go too far into that. I think you summarized that amazingly. We could geek out all day, and we'll do that at another time. But yeah, okay, easy. Next up, we have a personal favorite of mine,
Showing your
Taoqi.
bias, okay.
Well, yeah. So character-wise, we're talking about design though. So Taoqi. All right, I'll start this one because I've been kind of vocal about this. I actually think she's like C tier. I don't think Taoqi's design is that interesting at all.
Coming in hot and heavy.
She's maybe B, but if I'm comparing her to Chixia and Yang, I like Taoqi. I like her as a character. She's going to be on my main team, best believe. I love her playstyle. From what we know about her, I think she's pretty cool. Like she's just kind of like a cool, like a sort of a, like kind of a mom style character, or whatever. Teen mom sort of thing, guardian. But her design from like, you could essentially say all of her design. How do I put this? I know some people are going to say chest up, essentially. It's her whole design. I was gonna say her bust, literally like her face. You can add chest up because I do think that plays a part in her design, just being like a different body type. So I will definitely give you that. But her clothing is so drab to me. I think her clothing is rather boring, and so it's like this weird low B, high C sort of thing with me. Because like I said, if I would have put her and the Rover beside each other, like I said, I'm telling you, like I just don't. I wish her design, her clothing looked different. I pray that we get skins, and I pray she gets one immediately because I just don't think her design is that interesting. I think it's kind of boring.
Yeah.
I was hoping she would get a redesign, honestly, and she technically did get like I think she got buffed a little bit, like her upper chest got buffed, but just in terms of clothing, I've just been like, yeah. Like I said, that's just me, man. I'm just saying, and mind you, I made a video about Taoqi and Encore, like. Best believe she's gonna get played, but that's just my opinion in terms of design.
Yeah, I feel like they could have actually. I feel like it's kind of like in terms of like the comparison to the Rover, like she definitely does have more vibrant, like see to like like that comparison because of the pink, right? But I also feel like there's kind of those situations where it's not enough because she still is mixed in with like the black and the white, and like even when you go to like the pants she has on, it's just kind of like dulls down to like kind of like more black. I feel like one thing they could have really incorporated with her, since of like the kind of the role she has, she's kind of like this tank, kind of character. Even just having like color themed like knee pads or armor shin guards or something like that, I think could have like definitely made a difference to kind of like tie in the lower portion of her design into the upper portion. So I feel like I agree with that, man. I definitely feel like she's in about that like B area for me. Yeah, I feel like she's about that B area for me, honestly.
I feel like this is a personal attack because look, I actually really like it. So I even went through. I wanted to double check. I wanted to double check here because I was looking at the splash art, and personally, I really like the design of the splash art that was like recently shown with her design. But I was like, it is different though. The splash art to in-game model is different. So I went back and I was looking at the showcase where they were showing the redesign of her in the video format, and I'm looking at it, and like. I still like it. Like you guys are criticizing the legs, but my man's here don't like nylons. I don't know what's up with you guys. I'm a fan. Like, like I personally, I do
I
really
think her
like
legs
her
are
design.
fine. I just it's not color pop. It's apparel. It's apparel. Like I think her upper.
I'm saying though, I don't agree. Like I think actually her upper design where she gets into the kind of like that skirt design where she's got all of the flowy pink elements going off of there. I love that. Love her animations that go along with it too, with the counterattacks, which we've been considering animations a little bit here on the design. Also, I think the term you were looking for is like the like big sister or the like Onesan energy.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it.
Yep. You said teen mom. I was like, that's not teen mom energy. But yeah, like the big sister.
Yeah,
energy,
you called
like,
it. You called it.
I personally like it a lot. Personally. So I think y'all are being way too harsh personally, I would put her up there, like at least like Life, you don't like this. I'd put her above Aalto personally. Like that's me.
So like, are you saying like B or A, like above, or like?
I clearly the sentiment is like not everyone's a fan here. So like I'll acquiesce and say I don't think it's an A. And honestly, I don't know if I would push her to A either when we're considering what characters we've placed her there. I don't think she's on the same caliber as them. But I would say high B, me personally.
Yeah, I agree with high B.
And that's fair. That's fair. Like everybody, yeah. All right, what about you,
I
Will?
was gonna say B, just to keep it short. I feel like there's something in her design. There's something missing to make her stand out a little bit more. I don't know what it is. I personally, like, now that I was looking through, I was trying to look at pictures. Like it could be that the pink hair is the brightest pink and the pink on her clothing is like darker. If they make that pink as bright as her hair, I think she could stand out a little bit more.
Because we also have considered animations a little bit here too.
Yeah.
Not necessarily combat, but animations. On her ultimate, when she yawns before her swing, the disrespect in that energy is so clutch. I absolutely love that personally. That
No.
high B boys. Come on.
So for me, like I said, I'm just talking about her attire. I love her hair. I love once again, she has that fluffy hair, right? I love that. Her ultimate, I love it. Like literally one of my favorite ults in the game. Design wise, right? I'm not the biggest fan of her attire. I just wish her attire looked a little bit more flashy, showy, something. It just looks like, and I understand this was kind of a thing where it's like, she looks like she just got off work and she's like an office worker. And I know that they work for a military. So like, that's why their garb looks the way it does. But like I said, I just was just like, oh man, this isn't really my cup of tea personally.
Maybe if they replace the grays with whites instead, like give her like more of a white palette, maybe it would look better. But I don't know.
Like I said, it's not the color for me. It's just I'm cool with the color. I'm cool with the color. It's just the actual clothing. Like you could give the exact same color palette, and just a different design, like that. It's her shirt mainly. I think it's mainly the shirt for me. It's not her lower. It's just the shirt. I think the shirt could look cooler, but it is what it is. Let's go to somebody who. Okay, I'm kind of excited about this one. Sanhua. All right. I won't go first, but Sanhua.
I feel like honestly, Sanhua gives me auntie vibes. Like she's very well versed and she's traveled, you know, like she has like the pearls. She has, I forgot what the hat is called. I know it's a specific name.
A beret.
A beret, yeah, she has that on. So like she's experienced some things. I feel like for the characters with the much duller color palette, she has a very, very distinct design, right? It's like even down to the cut her hair. Like, you know, she has like kind of like that, what's it called? Like the bang, but then still has like hair like coming down on the side and it's kind of uneven, but it's still kind of clean in a way, like which is like really cool to see. I feel like they, like I said, kind of like I don't know if they're pearls or not, but they might just honestly just be beads. So just kind of playing into the beads. I think she also has the thing that you don't like on the guy characters, which is like the rat tail. I feel like for her that kind of fits her design. Overall, she's a very sleek character. For me personally, I would say out of everyone, even over like the Rover, who kind of has that similar like base design, they tied her together with her eye color, right? I think that was like a really big play that they recently showed. And that for me made her entire design just make sense. And so I would say she's like, for me personally, like a high B, low A, honestly.
Okay. Connor just sent her picture to me.
Taoqi. It was Taoqi.
Taoqi sent it to me. And okay, you know what? Did she get redesigned?
Yeah, that's her redesign. That's the new
Okay,
version.
okay. Maybe I hadn't seen her redesign all the way. It does look good.
Send that to me.
It actually looks really good.
I need it for research.
The marketing channel.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, no, okay. Okay.
Oh,
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we were wrong. We were wrong.
Okay, she looks really good.
Oh,
I think the thing that like this right here, this little thing right here set it off for me. Like that clear distinction where it wasn't just like a flowy thing, but it was like a clear. Yeah, okay. I'm still now to be fair, gosh, okay. High B. Yeah.
I'll take the
Yeah.
W.
Yeah. That's really good. That is good. That is. Oh, that's good. They did it. They fixed some stuff. They 100% fixed some stuff.
Thank you.
All right, Sanhua. Sanhua. Back to
Okay.
Sanhua. I think she looks awesome. I'm putting her. If I'm putting Taoqi at high B, I'm putting Sanhua high B as well, because I just love the gold accents. Through like the little things. I did a video talking about her design, or just her lore and design, and the gold mixed with the black and gray. I just think the color, it looks really nice to me. White hair, once again, my weakness, right? Like, or it's technically gray silverish hair, but still kind of white, gray, silver. That arena, big fan. The kind of like just her overall, like she actually looks like Tifa from Having Children. Like her design looks very similar to Tifa from Having Children, actually.
Yeah.
If you look at her whole full outfit, and so yeah, I personally put her high B. I put her high B easily.
So
I'd be willing to go A, but just for the sake of like considering all the different characters. But like I said, mind you, that's just me. I know some people might say like, oh, she looks kind of plain, but I think that was the point for her to look kind of like plain, but also have like a little bit of a character to her.
I'm gonna rain on the parade real quick, and so I'm gonna speed this up because we've taken a lot of time, a lot of characters. I would put her on par with like Yang. My biggest criticism with Sanhua, like I do think from just looking at her in a vacuum, looking at the character, I do think it's good. I do love it's not heterochromia, but yeah, the eye thing that she's got the tassel mark in the eye. Great character design elements that definitely add a lot of uniqueness and personality to her. My biggest criticism though is other than her splash art where she's holding a piece of ice, nothing in her design screams her element to me. Like there's no connection there that I'm like, why is she an ice character? Like there's and if you look at all the other characters have some of that component to it that really helps connect you to it. And I don't know, I just don't see it with her.
Do you think that that's necessary though, to like for it to look that
Well,
way?
yeah, I think to some degree, yes, because if we're talking about like what you're setting out to do, you want characters to kind of like have like to match almost like what they're accomplishing. Like if we look at Aalto with
Mhm.
kind of like his cloud element in combat, we kind of see that tied into his overall color palette. Similar with Taoqi, similar with Chixia, especially Mortefi when we're looking at like the fire elements, the
Mhm.
dragon aesthetic with the fire swirling around him. You can look at the character and you instantly have a connection to, I know what this character does. I look at Sanhua and I'm like, nothing here connects to ice.
So I will say this, and
Design good, but nothing there.
I don't disagree with you on that, but I think the thing for Sanhua that differentiates her is it's actually going to be her personality, because her personality is like one to one with the idea of ice. She's a very cold, calculated, stern type character, and so
But are we
that
counting that
might
as
have been.
design though?
I mean, we
Yeah,
were
I
talking
think
about
that's
animations and like personality to a degree, like bubbly versus whatever. Like, I'm just saying, I think even if I agree with you, like I said, I agree with you in terms of just looking at her, you wouldn't be able to tell. But the fact of like how she actually carries herself, even down to like her idol animation, where she's like trying to force herself to smile, right? She literally has that icy exterior about her. So like I said, I'm not disagreeing with your position on that, but I guess I'm saying maybe that's was their goal, where it's just like her personality screams ice more than her immediate look.
I can respect that position, and I will say that definitely does give her some points in how I'm scoring it, but I
Mhm.
still don't think that's enough personally.
That's fair. Loba?
I was gonna say, yeah, that you guys made really good points. I was just thinking about my score. I'm sticking to I think B.
Okay.
Definitely
Yeah.
a lot better than the Rovers, even though they have that same black aesthetic going on.
Mhm.
I could be a little biased here because I like the red eye stuff. Like I really like red eyes
Mhm.
in a character. I think it looks cool, and the fact that she has her mark in her eye is even cooler. But I think with if we're gonna tie in personality Sanhua wise, like her design fits her personality like perfectly, because I feel like she's definitely not a bubbly character. She's not like go happy, like rainbows and unicorns. She's a very serious type of character. So it really does match her design well, being all black. I don't have a problem with it for her specifically. Like I don't think they need to add more color to her at all, because it wouldn't make sense with like the way she is, right? Like with the whole trying to smile thing, like she's very serious. So I'm gonna give her a solid B. I don't want to go higher than that,
Mhm.
but I think there is a specific tie with the element. How you're saying like, like ice is like cold, very
Mhm.
dull, right? And you know, Baileon, her personality is kind of the same. You know, they
Mhm.
kind of are very serious characters as well. But Ling Yang isn't like
Yeah,
he
I
looks. Yeah, that's
know.
why I'm like, I don't know
Maybe
that
that'll be
argument.
something we'll learn. Maybe
Yeah,
that'll be something we'll learn because he's a very good example of a character's not being like he's like you don't know that he's ice.
yeah,
Um
exactly.
Baizhi, but once again, I think this might be a thing because Baizhi doesn't look like ice, but her exterior, she has kind of a like a very cool, collected type exterior, like her personality. And maybe
Exactly.
that is like for her. So both her and Sanhua being ice, both having that kind of exterior. For Ling Yang, maybe that's something we'll learn about him. Obviously, the further we go, we'll kind of figure out, be able to create like some hypotheses in terms of like what their goal is for that.
For
But
sure. Yeah, yeah.
hey, everybody. So I'm sure you guys are probably wondering what happened. Where'd you guys go? Did you guys all go on a magical journey and then just come back? Except for Loba, clearly. Yeah, we did. As you can see, we got our superpowers. So now that we're back, let's get back to what we were talking about. All right. So we just got finished, if I recall correctly, talking about Sanhua and why everyone else has no clear fashion sense. So it's okay, they think she's B tier. She'll be A tier in my heart, but it's all right. The next character we have on the list, I would say let's go with Baizhi, if I'm saying that right. We'll have to, the more that we hear it, we'll be able to say it properly, but let's go with her. So this is a
Close
character,
enough.
right? This is a character who has gotten a couple redesigns, actually, 3 if I recall correctly. And so, as a result, what are we thinking about Baizhi? Where's she stacking up? And like I said, just a reminder, she did get a redesign, so base your opinions off of the redesign. And let's go with Zoxus first.
Um, I don't know if this is like fair to say, but I feel like she's almost like inverted of like of like the Rovers in a sense, like because instead of the play on black, it's just kind of like the white outfit. And like I would say with the changes, I know they did try to give her more color, which was a kind of a nice little extra like thing to add to her because I felt like she did kind of fall into that kind of generic palette. And considering that she's supposed to be one of those first units that we're probably going to end up coming across, I feel like I don't know though. I kind of feel like this kind of goes back to the same issue that Connor was bringing up with like Sanhua, but also to the point that you made about the personality of how she's supposed to represent ice, but she doesn't have anything necessarily correlated to that. That's really being presented outside of like when you actually see her animations. But because we're honing in on to the actual design of her, I feel like overall, if I had to rate her anything, she probably is gonna still be like a B for me. The thing that would, and this is kind of like a bias, the thing that would like make her go A tier for me is low key because they put her tacit mark on her leg, and I thought that that was the coolest thing ever. I was like, oh, okay, I see what you guys did there. That was definitely a play into the fan service a little bit. But yeah, I feel like she's still kind of B for me. I will say though, she does have a little bit more of an intricate design in the actual like threading of her clothes compared to some of the other units that are tiered lower. But I don't necessarily feel like it's anything super extravagant compared to some of the other units, I guess. So
Man,
Fair.
I'm I'm right there with you. I'm so borderline A, simply because like I love the pivot
yeah.
to the dress from her previous outfit. It's way more elegant. I think just kind of goes along with her and her personality in general a lot more. That I love that. I absolutely love the tasteful tacit relocation and the animation that comes along with it is just like it's big fan. Big fan. Okay. I like how that plays out. But I will say, actually, one thing that I thought was a bit of a step back is her hair was more green before, more fully encompassing. And they switched it to use a hairdresser's term here. It's an ombre now, where we actually see it kind of like gradient fade from the top brown into the green towards the end of it. And like, I don't know, it felt like they took a little bit of color away there, where I was like, I kind of wish that was still part of it. I liked that being a little bit more to her character, making her feel a little more distinct. And so if they have kept the green and they had made all the other changes that they did, I might push her up to an A personally. But I'd accept a high B. I'd be happy with a high B. I think she's pretty on par with like Taoqi, we could say.
Interesting.
Oh no.
Interesting.
That feels like the lead into something controversial.
I was gonna
Loba?
say, I was gonna go into saying that I would put her in A, but I was kind of disappointed that they changed her hair color. I liked the green a lot. I was a big fan of the green hair. That's why I'm going more towards B. What I would have liked, because I have talked about it before in a previous video, that like they should have mixed it. Her first design was good, and her second design. They should have, if they would have just kept the green hair, she would have been so good. Because it was so cool seeing Yang blue, Chixia red, and then her green. I was like, man, this is the Powerpuff Girls, man. You know, like, but they kind of just, they're like, nah, like, let's take out the green. She doesn't need it. I liked it. I thought it was good. It made her pop out a lot more, like how you said. She's B. She will be A if they put her back in green, but she's gonna stay B.
I don't know why I'm feeling like life's about to come in hard with like a D tier or something crazy. What are you waiting to drop? What are you waiting on?
No, no, it's not that crazy. In essence, what I'm saying is, when you were saying like high B, I was like, so you think she actually is like similar to Taoqi, right? Especially with how like you were praising her in the last time,
Well, I had
earlier part.
in my defense, I had to fight for Taoqi because all y'all were coming in so hard on Taoqi. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
So it kind of turned into I had to make my case a little bit more. But like I probably would still put Taoqi above her personally. But like
Mhm.
I would say she's not too far off.
No doubt. So Lisa, I did like the green hair as well. But I will say this: I think there is something to be said about having black hair, just because I think oftentimes in these anime style games, most characters don't have black hair. Most of them have like some other colored hair, you know? And so it is kind of cool when you can see kind of like a jet black colored hair character. Even if you think about anime, right, in general, usually the pretty character in animes are oftentimes those characters that have long black hair. Like if you've ever seen like in really just any anime, every time there's a character with long black hair, that character is just automatically considered pretty in other people's eyes. There's an anime called Love is War. It's like a comedy rom-com. The girl with the long black hair, basically long black hair, she's considered pretty, and they make a note to say it. There's another anime called Fruits Basket, and there's a character in that one too who has long black hair. I know about this because of my wife. And it's just like they just always call.
Sure you do.
Sure you do.
Oh my gosh, trust me. Trust me. Would not have watched it otherwise.
Trust me, bro.
No, but yeah, so basically, I do think it's cool, but like I said, the green hair was something I liked. But like I said, all in all, I think her face is really nice, as well. And so gets points. But I think, our consensus is pretty clear in terms of just kind of being B tier. So we could just, I guess the question is not like we're going super heavy on terms like how far. I don't think we're like taking that one too seriously. So we'll just keep her B tier. That's fine.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Like, I think it's again to like remind viewers. Maybe it's also a reminder for us that like this is all in like, kind of comparison and relation. We're not saying like in the broader market like B's bad or anything. We're just saying like in a hierarchy of the characters, where do we think they kind of line? Honestly, by and large, I think I don't want to speak for all of us. I'd say we're all pretty big fans of the character designs in general.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Just thought I would remind viewers that's the context we're operating in.
Yeah, we have to do a 20-minute PSA of that because we can slowly feel pitchforks being raised every character. So
it's okay. I like them. Okay. So next up, let's go with I would call him a silver fox. I guess he has like silver here, so we could say it works. The man, the myth, the legend, Yuanwu.
Yeah.
That's my boy right there.
I'm not gonna lie. He is like I just feel like there's something about like I call these drip kings that I love characters that are able to come into a game and like compared to everybody else, the dude is in a suit. Okay. Like it's like and consider the theme of the game, right? We're in an open world game, you're running around. This guy
Yeah.
has literally dress shoes on, a top hat, and a full-blown tuxedo. Like you have to be cool at that point to be able to coexist in this space. But I feel like for the overall design for him, I feel like
Mhm.
they honestly really did a good job with being able to like I don't want to call him old necessarily, but like at least a middle-aged man. Like they
Mhm.
definitely were able to still give him that feel, and they didn't have to go the complete gray hair route. The dude has blue hair. So they kind of tied in his beard into that. It's like his beard kind of shows his age some. But in terms of like the actual layout of his clothing, I really like how they went about incorporating. I think it's like the blacks. I think the obviously the blue, and I think there's some gold in there if I'm not mistaken. But long story short, I feel like if I was to rank him anywhere, I would probably put him in like A. I feel like he would be an A. And then I think it's because of the top hat tops it off for me, and the fact that he can parry with the top hat. I was like, I'm sold. I'm like, bro, yo, what are we doing here? You know? Uh,
Okay.
I was gonna go, bro. I really like his design a lot. I was gonna go S tier. I think his design is so cool. And you were spitting facts on the fact that like this guy's in the open world. He's in a tux. He's too he has too much drip. He looks too good, and his hat. He's the only one with like a cool hat like that. Like I think in the male, yeah, from all the male characters he has, and like he has it tipped, and he pets a cat. You know what I'm saying? Like I think overall, like just he just looks too fancy. I mean, he looks like he's ready to go to a ball or like some fancy meeting or something or an investor meeting. I don't know what he's going to, but that's why I'm putting him in S. I think he's S. Like he's really cool.
Your bias is showing, Loba.
I'm sorry. I really like him a lot. Like I think he's cool.
No, that's fine.
And red's my
Look.
favorite color. So I don't know if that says anything, but
I think it's saying something that you like it. Here's the thing. They do a lot of things right with this character. You guys have already touched on it, so I'm not going to belabor the point. But like masculine adult male character, like that's just a big win. Like I'm tired of all the young boy, like 12-year-old boy bull crap. When it comes to anime characters, it was just cool to see like a strong looking masculine character. I'd say Mortefi kind of hits that too. He's still got a bit of a pretty boy look to him, but like they lean more into it with Yuanwu. Huge check in my book. The only I'll say I agree with pretty much a lot of the other things that have been said. I'll say the only thing that is like where I bumped into issues. I love his splash art. I think he looks fantastic. Especially there's a specific one where he's like kind of like doing like the look over the shoulder with the hat, and it almost makes his jacket look like a vest a little bit there. Got a bit of a cowboy thing going on, and like I like love that splash art. It got me like hooked on the character that I wanted to see more. I just don't know if it fully translates to the in-game model in the same way or with the same
mm,
effect. And I think there's a bit of a disconnect for me there that I honestly I can't pinpoint what it is because I really like his like animations in terms of his combat. And I love his like fist fighting style. I like how they incorporate the hat into his combos. Like there's a lot of really good things in there, but there's just still some small disconnect there on the splash art to the character in-game model that like it doesn't fully work in my head. So I don't know if I would go S tier on him personally. But I think he's a great looking character and something that we need in this genre of game for sure.
yeah. Yeah. One thing I wanted to throw in there too. A lot of people don't realize, and this is kind of the same thing that we have with Mortefi, is how he has the scales on his arm. Yuanwu actually has them on both his hands, and he has gloves covering them. And so, if you actually look in between where there's holes on his gloves,
ooh, I
you
see
can
it.
actually see scales on his hands. So I kind of wish they would have played more into like showing that to kind of show the kind of like I guess like the animalistic aspect are kind of morphing on him, because I didn't know what he was tied to, but it looks like he also might be kind of tied into the dragon kind of scale thing too.
That's so cool. I just
Yeah,
noticed that now too.
I like
Dude,
details like that.
I think I miss that. You're so right. I'm looking at his recently released kind of like splash art thing that they released along with the character.
Yeah.
And there is like the dragon symbol is there above his name. So 100%.
He has it like on his
I
wrist.
think he's,
Yep.
yeah. I never caught
all
that.
the way to the
That's
forearm.
so sick.
Yep.
Yeah,
He wears the long
so sick.
sleeve. So I feel like there's, even with some of these characters, there's like those character design choices that might like make really good like I would say concepts for maybe even like what PGR has, like coatings. I would love to see something that shows more of like his scales or something like that. Like that would be really cool.
I smell another lore video right now. Like we got friggin' 3 dragon characters that seem to be operating in different elements right now.
Yeah.
Like we got Mortefi, we got Yuanwu, and now we got Jiyan. All 3 different elements, all with dragon characteristics that are applied to the character. I smell a lore video, boys.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
Hey. Yeah, no, that's actually really good. I didn't even know that myself. So that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I mean, hey, Rowdy Rough Boys. They're the Rowdy Rough Boys, man. So
They are actually the Rowdy Rough Boys. The Powerpuff Girls, not no more. They retired.
Yeah. Apparently, I mean, to be fair, she has a green highlight in her hair.
a little bit.
She has, it still exists. So yeah, so my take on his design, like I said, legit, I think it's a cool design. I think if I were to be honest with you, I'm more interested in just the overall role that he plays. Like I said, being the masculine character, being kind of like, you know, a boxer in the terms of the gauntlet style. That's probably like the biggest thing for me. The fedora hat thing is like, it's kind of like hit or miss. To be fair with you, I think it's him being older helps. If he was younger with a fedora hat, I think it would definitely kind of give me like those nerdy style,
Milady
like,
vibes.
yeah,
Milady.
yeah, exactly.
Lady.
But being older definitely helps. And also just him being an older character, because we just don't see that. Like we really don't see that, even though, you know, but he's not just older character, he's an older buff character, which is pretty cool. And you know, it gives you hope for the future in terms of like very different designs. And so, and you know, I might sound harsh for this, but I would say high B, low A. And so as a result, I think based on Loba's bias, I guess that means he goes into the A tier. Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm cool. I know I would be on board with that. I was looking at his animation again. His ultimate animation, there's a brief frame where it does like the white anime glasses thing where the lenses go
Yeah.
white before he spins around for the punch. I'm looking at those animations again. I'm like, those are pretty clean. Like those.
Yeah, and
I do
and
like
that is
that.
something to note, actually, though. That is a really cool. Like I said, style-wise, I think he's gonna be a really fun character. I mean, he was fun to play with as well. And so, like I said, overall, I'm down. I'm down. I think A is fine. I putting him above Taoqi just makes me feel weird. Like, and it's only because of Loba. Because if it wasn't for Loba, like I wouldn't put him that high. But
That's why this is
he can even
our tier list.
Exactly.
He could probably be a dad. He's giving dad vibes, man. You know?
No, yeah. I'm just saying, like, okay, so we're getting down to the wire. Okay, all covered in red, just like Danjin. Shout out to anybody. I wanted to keep that voice line, but shout out to all the CBT1 enjoyers. Danjin. Okay, I'm kind of excited about this one. Not gonna lie, I'm really interested to see what everybody's opinion on her design is. And like I said, I think it's very clear we have considered like animations and things like that because it's just like overall design. So yeah, what are our thoughts on Danjin and what she does? And even just to put this out there for Baizhi, I think she has really cool animations. To be honest, I thought her animations were some of the coolest parts about her because she didn't really work properly in CBT1 from what I tested. And so I thought her animations were amazing. The way when she dodges and like basically like swims in the air almost with her echo, you know, Yutan, it looks sick. So just wanted to put that out there. But yeah, so Danjin, What are our thoughts? I'll swing it over to you first, Connor.
I wonder why. Look, do I need to say more? She got red hair. No. Look,
Enough
Danjin
said.
actually, something we got to acknowledge with Danjin, she's got a bit of an advantage here because she's got that special animation that's been fully released for her, which actually I think does a lot for her character design and like overall style. There's a specific frame where like I think it might have been the thumbnail for her video where there's like the she's looking over the shoulder and she's got this like I don't know girl next door kind of like looking and face her that like I just think her character looks gorgeous. Like I really like the changes in like personality and things that they've included in there, that she's got this great wholesome exterior, the girl next door, but then in that special animation that's showcasing that like no, there's some kind of insanity lurking under there when she's got like the blood on her cheek and stuff. And I'm a sucker for that kind of like character. So that's all that's to say that it gives me some points that have definitely been leaned towards her. There's a bias there because of that. So we're just acknowledging that. From her like specific design herself, I do really like it. I think I'm looking at the same or the most updated version. But I really like the blue, like crescent moon thing that is contrasting with the rest of the red of her outfit. It kind of breaks it up. Really like the flowing elements to it. There's some good texturing and artistic styles on the different elements of clothing too that just really breaks up the patterning there. Not everything just blends into itself. I really like it. I really like her animations that they've included for it as well too. So honestly, it's a character I'm a really big fan of for a multitude of reasons. So like I don't know if I'm S. I don't know if I'm S, but I personally I would put Danjin A at least.
Gotcha. All right, what about you, Zox?
For me personally, I like for those of you guys that don't know, I actually used to dabble a little bit into fashion. So I used to model, believe it or not, pretty good looking myself, I think so. Maybe the chat might agree, hopefully.
Put some overlays in here real quick. Put in some headshots.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw some headshots at some point. But one of the things that I noticed, and it's gonna kind of get into like some fashion terms, they really layered her clothing really well, right? And I think that that's something that like in comparison to the other characters, to kind of give more dimension to like her clothing, or to make it seem like when she moves, there's this part of her clothes that's moving with her, whereas the other one is still kind of compact for, like just kind of like resistance or whatever it might be. I feel like they kind of did that really well with majority of the red clothing that she has on. It's kind of like almost like it's kind of like drape, almost like poncho kind of vibes in a way, like the way it kind of like sits on her. And then I agree with Connor with that contrast, that crescent moon, like that's the thing that stood out to the most to me. It's kind of like almost like a talisman, it looks like. That really does something for that contrast on the color, like 100%. And then I would even argue like, they just did really well with like even the balancing, like the ribbons on like her on her sleeves, how they kind of cupped it into kind of almost being like I don't want to say like kind of almost like a hoodie in a sense. Yeah, it's not just like this open free flow, so it kind of gives like combat in a sense. So I feel like that in conjunction to obviously the tacit mark, like being on her, I think that's on her arm, if I'm not mistaken.
Her shoulder. She's got loops, like it scoops on her shoulder, which also
Yeah.
feels functional because that's where the tacet mark is too.
Yeah. So I
Goes
feel
together
like
well.
everything, even down to her eye color, like they just gave a really great contrast. I agree with the A rating, honestly. I would say. Like just everything just feels really nice. And I just don't and I feel like she's like she has life, even though there is like the psychotic play there. She has like this element of life still with like her color scheme.
I'm gonna take a stab at it. I'm for sure, man. I was like so close to S on her too, because I really do like the contrast, like how you guys were mentioning. The blue and red, such a nice mix, especially with the eye color, very bright, makes her stand out even more, But she had a lot. I don't think a lot of people know a lot. She had a couple redesigns too. I think it was either 2 or 3. I'm not really sure. It could be 2 max. But I thought it was interesting because the reason why she got the redesign is because her whole like persona and her like element is like havoc, right? But she attacks with like, it's supposedly blood. That's why they redesigned her design, because it was too graphic or too gory. So like, yeah, so like the newer one is like more PG friendly, but I think they're still trying to be on that same concept where she like either she's like a blood hunter. I don't really know, because like in her trailer she has like blood smeared on her cheek. I thought that was like kind of like, okay, like she's like sinister, but she's like super cute at the same time. You know, like this girl is all over the place. Like what's going on with her, right? But it does tie in very well with like her weapon, like when she uses like the blood sword. It's not a blood sword, but it looks like one. It was supposed to be one. And like it just all ties in very nicely. And I don't know. I feel like she's like that psycho kind of girl. I don't know, but she's like one of my favorite characters in the game. Like hands down. Like she's just great combat. I know we're not talking about combat, but I just cannot talk about it. It's so good. You know, it was so much fun using her. And high A, easy. I'm gonna put her on high A. Not S. I don't think she's there, but high A for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. For me, it's like it's really difficult. S or A. It's so hard. Because I just, like I said, I look at her and I look at everybody else, and you guys kind of definitely said the majority of it in terms of like I love the color contrast, the red and the blue, or teal, what have you, in her eyes as well as the pendant. Amazing. She, like you said, she feels amazing to play. I was really a fan of that. Even like if you look at my reaction to her trailer, I was just like, I was like, oh shoot, like I was like, this is peak, because legit, she just her color combination is mesmerizing to look at. Like that palette is amazing. Yeah, like I said, we're not making this like a hard fast rule, but at the very least, in terms of like, I have to put her at the top of A. Like I said, and I'm still kind of on the fence. I might throw her in the S, depending, because like I said, we're just so split between S and A. So once everybody's done, I'll reconsider based on how we place people. So next up, let's do Ling Yang. And I know we don't have a lot of, but we've seen him in game in the trailers and things like that. We didn't get to play as him, but obviously that's not the point, because most people haven't gotten to play with any of these characters. So from purely a design perspective, what are we thinking?
I think you should start this one, Life.
Oh gosh, I want to start the next one.
You want to do the next one? I'll go.
No, let Loba go. Let Loba go
Let
first.
Loba go? Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Loba. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna try. So, because I need to look at a picture, right? So, okay. So definitely, man, he's so cool. He really is cool. Man, where he falls on the tier list is so hard to pick, because I don't think he's S. I want to say between high B, low A. Okay, I think that's fair. But man, do we go Captain Aalto or do we go this route? Because man, some people like the old design.
We gotta go with what we have, man.
I know. So to be fair, I mean, he has a really, really cool design. Like a lot of, definitely more on the white palette. I like that. He also has, I believe he has blue eyes too. So it does make him, stand out a little bit more in the face. And, he has like little pinches of red, maybe a little bit of blue here and there. I mean, I'm not like the biggest fan with like the animal kind of characters, like with the tails and all that. Like, I'm not like a huge fan of it. So I am super unbiased on this. I would say, I think I'm going to keep on a high B.
You mean to tell us you're not a furry?
No.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I had you pegged.
Yeah,
for
like
furry for some reason.
I'm not crazy about him. But I'm not saying, I don't think his design is bad. I think it's pretty cool. Like it's very unique, very different. I like the black and whites with the tint of gold in there too, Yeah, I think B is good. High B is good for me personally.
Got you. What about you, Zox?
I would say for me, I think like this character design is a little bit different than some of the other ones, because there's like at least a known intent behind it. It was something that was done with the intent to kind of give like that stamp of who the team was or is, like culturally. I feel like again, for those that aren't aware of the lion dance that they have, or the lion head dance that they have, that's like directly correlated to Chinese culture. So that was kind of like a way for them to be able to insert themselves in a way, and it kind of like showcased that. I feel like what they did kind of stays true. Like if you look up like these lion heads and like just how they're made, or just even other like color schemes and stuff like that, it honestly fits it really well. Like they execute it extremely well as far as the outfit. I think the thing that we are kind of running into though is like color palette, right? I feel like for what it's worth, with what it seems like the character's personality seems to be coming off kind of more bolsterous, like it's like very energetic, extremely just like kind of young, youthful. I feel like I would have maybe appreciated the character in a different color palette to some degree. I would even argue like not necessarily like a orange, but if there were like some yellows or something like that thrown in, you could still keep that white palette that they have as the base, but just having some other colors to kind of highlight the character, I think would have been even nicer. But I feel like overall, for me, the character is about a B to an A. I'll say like honestly like a high A, really though, for me, to be honest. Like yeah, I'll say a high A, if anything.
Well, let me just step in on that. It's very interesting considering all of what you just said, and then still giving high A. It's just like,
Yeah.
sheesh, that's actually pretty impressive on his part. I'm actually in a similar boat. I was actually thinking high A. I wish I could give him S. I really do. I think I would have actually given his old design S, just because I really liked his old design. I thought that thing looked sick. I was just like, and to push back a little bit. I don't know if pushback is the right term, but I think that his color design is amazing. Personally, once again, I thought the first one was better with the grays. They don't have as many grays now. I don't think that at least unless they just fully changed him. Part of me, just if I were to go based off of his old design, part of me thinks that and the way he acted as well. The way that he acted plus his old design was less of a super cheery person. And now, mind you, this might have changed, right? This might have very well changed, in which case, forget what I'm saying. But I think the goal for him isn't just purely him being like young and vibrant or whatever. In the past, when he was ferocious, like bro was like super cocky, super confident, and like bro, I can like 1v10 people, right? And like I said, we don't know if that's still the case. Obviously, from the trailer, they showed him looking all excited and vibrant. In his words, yeah, and so that's what I'm saying. Like his color palette, I think it's fine because, like, I said, if they keep that, I think it's fine because it potentially could be a thing of like, no, bro is ferocious. He is like a tiger, like a white tiger, like a rare tiger in a sense. So that's kind of where I was kind of going with that. It's interesting just to draw on, Chinese culture, mind you, not purely because it's another game, but Chinese culture, Jingyuan from Hunt Kai Star Rail, right? And now, mind you, Ling Yang's design was out before Jingyuan's design was out. Like, just being honest, like we saw this dude, we saw him essentially, we saw him before. So when we did see him, it was just like, oh shoot, this is really cool, and all that. And then I saw Jingyuan, and I was just like, okay, so it looks like somebody else is using that similar design format, basically. And so Connor with these looks.
I don't know if I'm tracking with what you're dropping there, man. Like, that's why I'm like, what? Like, sorry, I'm legitimately thrown off.
Which part?
Like the drawing, the comparison between Jinga, like, okay.
Yeah, so if you look at Jingyuan's design,
I was letting you cook. Like I'm looking at him right now. You keep going. I'll come back.
Yeah, looking at Jingyuan's hair. Also, if you look at his splash art, he has that lion with him, and it's very similar in essence to how Aalto used to look. Right? It's like it kind of draws on a similar design structure. Is my point. And so, not the lion dance thing, because if you look at the lion dance, it will 100% throw you off. But if you're looking at the way Jingyuan's hair is, as well as like the lion that he has in his splash art, and then you look at how Aalto used to look, like I was just immediately like, I saw Jiyan and I was like, oh, so these guys probably are operating in a similar thing. Because to be honest, Captain Aalto did not give me
He didn't give me tiger vibes at all when I first like Captain Aalto. He didn't give me that at all.
Yeah. So like I said, it's maybe not the strongest link, but that's just like I said, how I kind of perceived it. So long story short, I would say as of right now, I'm giving him high A because I do think he's a really well put together design. But yeah, I think like, if we get to know his personality more, we'll kind of have a higher better appreciation for where they decide to go with them.
Okay, I was doing some side-by-side comparisons here because I was letting you cook and I was just trying to see it. And I kind of see where you're coming from there. There's some theming carryovers, we can definitely call it, that actually I was even noticing on like Jinyuan, like has like the red like hair tie, and then they did something similar on Ling Yang, and he's got some other accents in there that I'm like, okay, I see where you're coming from. I see some of the, yeah, probably cultural references that are brought over between the two that I can see where we're coming from in that place. And okay, I'll accept that. I got two contrasting things. Well, that's why I said I wanted to let you cook. I'll let him cook. I want to see this. I've got two contrasting things here. There's how I feel about it and how I think the design of it is. I think from like a design perspective, I think we've all kind of like hit it. I do think he's a fairly well designed character. I think, yeah, it might have been more fun to giving a little more of like an animalistic approach to the character, but I think him in his current form, I think he's really cool. And actually, though, his animations carry him huge for me. I love him running around on the drums when he's activated his skill from what we've seen in the animations, and a lot of that actually pushes him even higher for me in terms of a design standpoint. But kind of like on our conversation with Yuanwu, I'm so tired of these childlike looking characters that I'm just like, why? Like, honestly, when you started cooking on the Jinyuan part, I'm like, man, actually, what if we had like a Jinyuan kind of lion dancer who's coming in and doing the same thing? That'd be sick ass. Like, it's just another jack dude like coming in and crushing it. So like, in a way, actually, it kind of hurt my feelings of Ling Yang a little bit when you started pulling that in there, that I was like, actually, you know what? But I'll say that's a personal preference thing of like, I just don't know why we go to the young characters all the time. And again, Ling Yang honestly is not like the youngest character like we've seen in the game before. Like it's not that bad. It's no Jueyuan or whatever her name is.
Jueyuan.
Jueyuan, yeah.
I think she's got a new name. The Wuthering Radio said it was a different name recently. I don't know. Apparently she's got
It used to be Berna. Her name used to be Berna, and now it's Jueyuan. Yeah.
Now it's Jueyuan. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe that's what I was mixing up there. Yeah, like we've already got that. I'm not gonna belabor that point. So like, it's not as bad as it could be, but I still don't like that. So like,
It's okay. We understand, Connor. You're ageist. It's fine.
Listen,
look, you guys just need to understand that you got bad taste.
Perfect World, Perfect World changed the entire cast to buff dudes, and we're good.
Yinlin, by Taoqi.
I'm tired of all these women in my games. Give me the dudes.
It's literally like the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure memes, where like it's like literally JoJo with a wig on, like with Taoqi's hair, but it's just JoJo.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Look, all I'll say is I'm gonna veto S tier. It doesn't sound like anybody's going there, but I'm definitely vetoing S tier on Ling Yang. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, cool.
Oh, well, I don't know if I'd put him above Danjin. That feels a little bold.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, all right. Well,
Just put it out there. Might be a little bit bold.
fair. I was just throwing things around. It's all.
Just testing the waters. Testing the waters.
Like I was like, yeah, no, I was kidding about the top of it. I was kidding, unless. But no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I honestly, no, Danjin. I will put it out there. So everybody, we're getting down to the wire, like we truly are. And gosh, this might be very easy or it might be very difficult. It really depends.
It's gonna be easy.
So let's bring out the new person. Everybody's favorite, let's be honest, like everybody's favorite, Jianxin. What are we thinking? I'm gonna go first on this one. I'm gonna take that opportunity, that pleasure to go first. So gotcha. Nah. Seriously though, I think she is a solid C tier character, to be honest with you. If you
the double troll, get your butt.
Okay. Seriously though, it's just something about it, that duality of the color spectrum. And so I was just like, yo. And then obviously like her design, her tags are just all together. Like I said, I could go on, but simply amazing. Her face, amazing. The way her hair kind of comes over and it's like the roundness that it gives to her face, like similar to Taoqi. Like it's just all together. altogether sick. Play style wise, obviously, like it's hard to like. We're not trying to go fully on play style, just animations and design. But yeah, she's easy. It's an easy S tier for me, easily
Yeah.
without.
I had a bit of an allergic reaction when you put her above Kakarot, but the more that I thought about it, I do think you're right. She succeeds where I think Sanhua's design failed. I think there is such a consistency to her character. Some may think it's too overt. I think it's right on point that she is based off of a Taoist monk combat style. Her color palette has that of the yin and yang, along with that the yin and yang emblems that are brought through it. That it looks fantastic. On top of it just being designed very well, that I'm a huge fan of it. But she's also the, I believe, arrow element from what we've seen. And there are splashes of that color still mixed throughout the black and white. So it still ties in the elemental effects to the thematic elements of it. I think you nailed it on the hair. I love that. I love the little personality quirk that she can make music with her hair. And I love her combat animations that we've seen, the countering ability that she has along with it. She basically checks every single box in terms of a character design, in that you look at it and you understand what this character is and what they do, along with it just being aesthetically pleasing in every single way. That I'm like, yeah, I, I don't know if I could ask more from like a character in this context for with Wuthering Waves. I don't know if there's more that I could think
That's
of
a
to
good
even improve
point.
on
Like,
that.
what more could you? We talk about like the idea of characters, like with Jueyuan, right? Where we're like, what are they going for? How well do they execute it? And similarly for Jianxin, like, what more could they actually do beyond what they did? Like, and yeah, it's that's a very hard sell
Yeah.
to try to
Somebody
prove argument.
Somebody pulled out in another video too I saw in looking at her animations, like the subtlety of her ability that like Taoist monks are a lot of it about like breathing and has the Tai Chi connection. Like, and in her animations, you see her actually like her lips, her mouth changes shape, like she starts doing the breaths. Like it's there's so many little details like that. Yeah, that's pulled in that I'm like, no, that's perfect. Like that's exactly what like if I'm thinking Taoist monk combat character, I'm like, that's it. You got it. Like
Yep.
what more?
Yeah, they did a really good job. I think when we like kind of, yeah, going into like that concept of what fits the universe, she fits the universe extremely well. And I think she would be like a prime example of that. It kind of even makes sense as to why it seems like she's like one of those first like marketing units that they decided to push out. Like she just really does, I feel like, represent the game in a really good way. And I feel like the other thing too, going back into the black and white palette, because that's been like a pretty constant like thing that we've been kind of toying around with some of the other characters. I feel like you can honestly miss a lot when you do a combined palette of black and white, and they somehow pulled it off. And I think it's the connection of that yin and yang, honestly, like that playing into like what Connor said with the attribute of the arrow. That's literally like, again, she's not shooting air from her body, but like it still tells you, it represents like what she's like and where she's from essentially. So I would say I agree with the S rank placement. Honestly, yeah, I 100% agree with that.
I was also gonna say when you think about yin and yang, it's a swirling of black and white.
Yes. Yep.
Swirl, air, like the swirl. So it's just like it just almost makes all the sense in the world that like the only other element that would make more sense for would be like water or something like that.
Yeah.
And we don't really have that element. And so it's just like, yeah, she
Well, one
10
last
out
thing
of
I want to
10.
mention though that I did just realize, her top like shirt is like actually designed in the format of like a traditional Chinese dress. So they kind of like, and I think that that's the other thing, right? Like kind of like what we mentioned with Danjin and like her layering. They were able to take almost like different components of like completely different outfits and make them fit really well. And I mean, like, because even like when you're looking at like the black sleeve she has, that's like almost like a fully covered like sleeve. Whereas like her other arm, she has like her wrists exposed and she just has like a white glove on. So
Mm.
they just did really well with balancing out the character, even down to like the actual drip. It doesn't seem like it's just some like base NPC outfit. Like it actually looks really good.
That's such a good observation of like that a character whose whole motif is based on the idea of balance she is so well balanced in the splash art and the design of the character. Like I love it. Also, I was like looking as you were talking there. I was like, wait, I just want to confirm who the tassel mark is. It's on that little like slit too on her collar that just looks like really good. And every time I keep looking and keep finding more things I like about this character.
Nice. I also wanted to mention I actually used to do modeling as well.
Oh, we're all models here secretly.
Like not in the same way you modeled. I was in a modeling troupe in college. It was more like the less of what you were wearing, but more of how you walked, basically, or like it was like pseudo dancing performance type stuff or whatever. It was like walk, that sort of thing. Like it wasn't voguing, but some people did vogue as well. It was just like it was a whole thing. I didn't vogue, but some of the people who were in my modeling troupe did vogue. Connor doesn't believe me.
No, I do. I just think it's hilarious that we got two models in here. Like I have modeled, but I would not call myself a model.
Hey, okay.
All right.
All right, Loba, what's your take?
All right. So I have a lot to say. Okay. So again, I'm going to try to make it short. So Jianxin, a lot of people in general have been complaining about the whole black and white palette, but just like they could have taken out the whole green from her and she still would have looked so good. And also just even with the black and white design with no green, her personality would have outshined it like by tenfold because she is just so happy, cheerful, kind of like a Zen kind of vibe. Like she's like literally how you guys said, like well balanced, like she's one with nature maybe, or like she's been well taught by like maybe some monk in the game or something. I don't know, but like that's one thing. And another thing that I wanted to point out, because I saw like this funny meme about it. So okay, she represents yin and yang, right? We got Yang and we got Ling Yang. And Ling Yang does martial arts too, or kicking, or whatever you want to call it, right? So I'm like, is there a and Yang is like, she's arrow, she's like an air type as well.
Oh yeah.
So is there a connection? I don't know. I just thought that was kind of cool to mention. But yeah, I thought about that and I saw it somewhere. I thought that was cool. Overall, she's easy S tier. Like I don't have no hesitation on that. She's just so freaking cool. Expressions are great on her face too. She expresses like everything very well. Like she looks great. She's great. And I can't wait. I'm gonna main her. Easy.
Not if I made her first.
No.
So encore. All right. So we already know that what Connor's opinion is. Just put her in like the non-existing E tier.
Yeah, that's correct. That is the correct placement. Thank you.
It's like actually F, the non-existent F tier.
Can we take her off of the tier maker? That would be great.
Oh man.
Okay, so you know what? Connor, you go first.
All right, look. Encore mains, don't be too mad. A lot of this is based out of my own subjective opinion that like I just don't really like really young characters in games like this. I've just never cared for it. I don't think they need to be there. I think for any time there's a young, super young looking character, you could have somebody who's more of a teenager totally fit that and accomplish pretty much everything that you're trying to accomplish with the character in an unobtrusive way. So like, it feels unnecessary to me. If you want to say cultural things, sure, whatever. I still don't like it. Like I just am not a fan of it. From her like overall like combat like designs and kind of like you brought up before, like the woolies, I do think that's kind of fun because it invokes the idea of like, like the angels on the shoulder, like, the good and the bad angel. And I do like some of those personality things that are included. I do like her ultimate when she goes like feral and it turns into those combos. Like she does have a lot of great components to her. I just don't want her to look like a child. Like that's just, I don't like it. I can't help it. Call me old fashioned. I don't want her to be a childlike character. So like, I'm nowhere close to S. I don't even want to go A, but I know there's some other people here who are big fans. So I'll reserve my final placement, I'll let anybody else cook who wants to cook. But I'm sorry, Encore main.
I was gonna go next because like I want to state a couple things. So like she has something that Taoqi doesn't have. She has a lot more pinks. So if they could, she has a lot of pink on her. Encore has a lot of pink. If they could put more pink, like how they have on Encore, onto Taoqi, I think Taoqi's design might be a little bit better. But I mean, she's cool. You know, like I'm not like big on the, you know, the child designs as much. Like, but it's so hard because I really like Jueyuan's design more, and she falls under the same category, right? I don't know if it's like the nature aspect to it. I don't know what it is. Maybe I like nature stuff. I like, you know, hikes, going outside, you know, I like doing that stuff. So maybe that's why I chose higher for Jueyuan. For Encore though, I don't know. I'm like, I have mixed feelings about it. And it could be because like, I didn't have enough time to like actually try to use her in CBT1. So I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible, but I don't know. I mean, she has a lot of black and whites in there. The eyes are pretty cool. She has blues and pinks too. You know, she's got some blue pinks in there. She's cool.
I think her pupils are like the shape of a flower too, or something like that.
Yeah, I think it has like a little like weird like cross looking thing, I think too. It's cool that she could like be happy 1 second, mad the other second. I don't know. The woolies, I guess, control her, I think. I don't really know the context behind that too much. I'm going to give her low A, high B. Yeah.
Low A, high B. All right, so let me get into this now. All right, you guys have summoned the monster.
Let him cook.
Okay, so it's no surprise. I thought my two favorite characters in the closed beta test one were Anka, or now Encore, and Taoqi. Was it because they both had pink hair? I don't know. It just kind of happened this way. I didn't really choose it. It just happened. So I thought Encore looked amazing when I first saw her, because I was just like, oh shoot. Like when I saw the feral mode from her ultimate and how she just goes like berserk, I was just like, yo. And to be honest, this is just a me thing. And I totally understand Connor's argument. Like I do get it. But I don't know. I guess for me, it was just like, and we've talked about this before, I don't really think it's the worst thing. I understand that there's definitely certain parts of the community who can make it a something that could just be a normal thing, not a normal thing. And so, but if I'm just basing it purely off just like, you know, okay, she's here, she exists. What do we do with that now? Like I said, I think her design was really cool. One thing that's interesting though, Jianxin actually brought some interesting parallels in it for me, because one of my favorite things about Encore was the black and white aspect, like the woolies. But now that we have Jianxin who's doing the exact same thing, it's like that uniqueness doesn't fully exist in my mind as much now for Encore. And so I'm just like, does that bring her down a peg? It's possible, but essentially, like I said, I think I still like the black and white. I like the, like, kind of like you said, like the good angel, bad angel thing. I think that's such a cool design concept, even in fighting games, right? Like, because when I play fighting games and there's like all these different characters and they have different design concepts, I just thought the Encores was just really cool. And I still do. Like I said, her ultimate, it's awesome. Just like I said, and just playing her, and like I'm trying to take her kit out of the equation. But she just has so much stuff, even animations in her kit. Like she has a thing where she just drops a giant like sheep thing essentially on top of people's heads. Her charge animation is crazy. Like her, even when she's in her ultimate, she puts like this mark on enemies. Like she just has so many things to like about her design wise, that I hey, look, I still would have to put her S. I wouldn't put her at the top of S, but I would still put her S. And I know, like I said, people are gonna like it, but there's just too many things that I like about what they did in terms of a design, from a design perspective, for me to not like, when I compare it to the entire cast. And like I said, this could just be because they loaded her kit. Like they loaded her kit so much with so many different things.
She also has, I'm sorry cutting you off, but she also has a lot of lore just from the woolies alone. Right. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking about it too. I'm like, the woolies, I don't know if they're echoes or a companion look look-alike, like how Baizhi's
And
is.
they take control of her when she's in her ult.
Yeah,
by
so
the way.
like
We were
one's
talking about
happy,
that,
one's sad. Like they take turns on it or something. Like if she's like bipolar or something, right? But
yeah.
like
Black and white. Yeah, it's just
yeah,
like,
yeah, and that could be a yin and yang reference too. Like
and that's
possibly.
what I thought was so cool when I first saw it. That's why I said Jianxin kind of has that too. And so now I'm like, oh, she doesn't have that uniqueness as much. But like I said, there's just so much that
She
like I said,
does
so
have a
from
lot like embedded in just like everything that's going on with her. She does have a ton of stuff, and
yeah, it's just
and her whole kit. I'm not gonna lie, it was like the most. For me, it was complicated. It was so
oh
hard.
yeah, but it was so sick though. That's what I'm saying. Like when you understand it,
it was really hard to decipher all that information. It was too much for me. You know.
And like I said, I mained her, so that's probably why I was able to do it. But yeah, it's just like I said, there's too many positives in my opinion. Too many things that I can just point out, like, oh, that was cool. Like her pupils, those were cool. Like you know, if you like Hu Tao from Genshin, for example, she has the unique pupils. And so it's just like there were just too many things. So like I said, for me, I would say, like I said, I'm just thinking about overall design, regardless of whether she's a child character or not. That's not even really what I'm considering in my analysis, is not so much that she's a child character, but just because of all the other aspects about her. If you do, cool, I'm down. You slap that exact same design choice on a teen character or something like that, or even like as an adult character, I would probably feel the same way because it's just like it's just so cool in my opinion. So for me, I would just probably say like low, like the bottom of S, because I actually don't think she looks better than Kakarot or Jianxin. I don't, not even close. But I still think all those other aspects shine for me.
I think for me, the biggest thing is, and this is just kind of looking at it the same way I looked at Jueyuan. I was able to play with both units and kind of seeing how like they fit into the universe. I'm not gonna lie, and I think that this is also like, and it's just kind of like that understanding of like how each person might play games. I didn't really pay too much attention to her design necessarily. Like I did like for me, it was more of like an animation thing. Like I just thought the claw thing was really cool. But then I'm pretty sure if there's another character that comes in the game with claws and they're like a dude or something, I'm probably gonna gravitate to that character. But that's just again that goes into like that user preference. Now, when we're actually talking about like color palette, we're talking about like the layering of clothing, stuff like that. I feel like I guess for the type of character she is, because I think that's another component I've considered for each of the characters is like I mentioned like with Yuanwu, like how he was an older, male character and how they kind of incorporated his beard into showing that he was aged but wasn't old, like, if they would have just went with like a complete grayed out palette. So I feel like what they tried to do, and just even kind of seeing like the presentation of her as a character, it seemed like they tried to tie her in with Aalto kind of being like a older sibling figure in a way. So I think there's kind of like that context reason why she's there. And so I feel like with that, like when you're actually looking at like her design, some of the choices they I guess seem to have made with her, I feel like she kind of falls into A for me. There's not anything that's like for me personally that's screaming anything super extravagant. Like when, like I said, even looking at Jueyuan with her design, like there was like the earth and like, they even had like little things such as like vines coming out of her, I think it was like her neck or something like that, which kind of was like showcasing that what she was tied to was the earth, right? It was like kind of giving that extra layer of design. If I was to see Encore, I still even now don't even know what element she is. Like I don't think like that part.
She's Havoc.
Fire,
She's
she's
fire.
fire.
That's what I meant to say.
Fire.
She's
So
fire.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't get fire from her necessarily. Outside of like that whole, that feel, I guess, of like the personality thing, which is kind of another thing we touched on, how like some of the characters, they had the cold expression would represent that attribute in a sense. I guess that would be the representation for her. But I would say if I was to have gotten a look at her, I would have actually assumed she was Havoc just from the presentation of that, honestly.
Yeah. Can I jump back in for a moment? I know I ranted for a minute there. I'll give a fair design assessment here because like I've got my own subjective appearance, but I've been taking some time. I'm like I want to give her a fair run through in terms of her design herself, because and removing my personal preferences aside here, I think actually like from a kind of like what we said from a color broad color palette perspective, good. I think I like the contrast of the pinks with the black and white. I think that matches well with like the woolly characteristics and what we talked about. I think her hair overall is good. I actually kind of like the bow on the back of her head and the little piece of hair that's sticking up. It works really well. The bow on her collar doesn't work. I the more I look at it, the more it sticks out in a way that it doesn't totally frame her face in. And actually, like we talked about with like the balance of a character's design, it throws the balance off for me. That then also down with she's got that waist tie, it is a form of repetition there that again, like it's not a good kind of repetition. It feels like a copy paste kind of repetition. That it just the balance on that does not work. In terms of like the material designs of like the dress itself, it feels fairly flat to me. Like we've seen some way better complex layering on some of the other characters that I don't think her dress really holds that. I
Can
like
I
the side satchel. I like
can
the
I say
side
something
satchel.
on
That's
that
kind
real
of a fun
quick?
component. Sure.
I think because her body is a smaller body, too much layering would make it look like, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, but I'm just wondering if it's because of like the lack of like length. If they put too much layering, it might look cluttered because they don't have as
I
much space to
wonder
work with.
I wonder if that would be solved by her not being a child. You know.
Perhaps.
I just feel like you're just adding to my case here for a hot minute.
I mean, because
But
even Jueyuan, similar, right? Like she kind of
yeah.
has like that simplistic clothing style, and I'm just wondering,
Mhm.
and even if to take Nahida from Genshin for example, right? She has like the literal most simplistic thing you could ever think. And so I'm just wondering if there's like a similar design choice because they do that, which is actually interesting because Chi from Genshin has a very like a lot of stuff going on with her outfit, but
I would kind of disagree on the Nahida take. I think Nahida's looks way more ornate in a way that still kind of goes along with some of the fairy sprite elements that we've talked about, similar to Jueyuan, that actually I think might be executed a little bit better there. I know Wuthering Waves fans
okay.
might not like me saying that, but I'm just looking here and I think it is still doable, and I don't think that hits for me. So when I'm giving a fair take on Encore here, like really like, okay, let's look at this outfit. Let's look at the elements. I think some of
Yeah.
the trim work that's on the bottom of the dress that we've looked at other characters, I think is good. Like some of the patterning and stuff there is good. And like I said before, I like the devil and angel on the shoulders. I like that's some of the components of that, and I like her animations. They look good. They're fun. They're high energy. It seems like a fun kind of play into combat there. But I really I wonder if there's a little bit of gameplay bias going on with her because of like the complexity of her kit and what it can do. Because like I really don't think the design is it for
Well,
Encore.
let me actually make some clarifications because I was thinking about that when
Sure.
Zox was saying something. I actually don't think her actual clothing design is that amazing,
I
but
agree.
I do think her animations carry her. Like her animations, because and she has so many. That's what I'm trying to say. Like she has so many different animations when she's attacking, when she's ulting. Like just I really do think, but it's two things. It's one, the animations. It's two, the woolies, like fighting animations. Two, the woolies, and then three, the entire, like I said, color palette. Now the act when it comes down to the actual dress and all that, yeah, I would because if you mentioned like, listen, when I was saying everything I was saying, I said nothing about her dress. Everything I said was about her character animations, the woolies, and the black and white concept. Those are the only things I mentioned. And Zox actually, when he brought back up that layering argument, I was just thinking to myself, I was like, yeah, you know what? I don't really think your dress is really that great. It's not bad, but
No,
it's definitely not like if it was just
it's
that, it would not have won any like awards for me. But the
no.
other
Well,
aspect,
here's
It sounds
hold on,
similar to
but so
Taoqi. What you're saying,
well,
yeah,
yeah, like there's
hold on.
something there that's they're missing something. They're
it could
both
be
missing
it could be
something.
more,
It
but
could be
yeah.
more. They could add more, and it won't be as cluttered.
Okay.
You know.
So let's cook here a little bit and looking at like Ling Yang, I think is a great comparison unit here because Ling Yang is still like a younger character that if I'm removing my personal bias, like I still don't love that, but I can look at his outfit design and his animations. They're both big checks in terms of like how they've put that together. We put him in an A tier. I I just think Encore's character design herself, the actual outfit, everything along with it,
She's
just
more
ain't
like
it.
B. She's more like a B.
Yeah, like honestly, like it brings it down a lot, unfortunately. Like I said, her alt animation is awesome. I love when she goes into that feral. I've said it before. I love that feral mode. I love some of the aggressive combat that comes of it. And there are good things. And I think this could be a good character overall, but the character model itself, like I'm gonna make people so mad with this, but like this is
No, but
one.
I get what you're saying
It
though.
ain't it.
I get
It
what you're
ain't
saying
it.
though, because it would have been the same ordeal for I would say like in terms of character model, Jueyuan is like the closest or the most similar,
Mm,
and she still had elements that still was like okay, we can rank her off of her drip that she has,
mm,
like even down to her hair, the hair's like because even like the hairstyle is important to a character's design, you know. So
mhm.
it's like
Hmm.
I do agree, like it's a lot of things that doesn't necessarily make her stick out to say she's this character like some of the other characters like you know Kakarot came up and it was like nope there's no way to contest that guy's like
Yeah.
he's there like
Yeah.
right and
Yeah.
there was so many aspects not just the animations but it was what his animations caused to happen which directly affected his design you know
And
so
and actually you were on point earlier, Zox, too, when you were talking about like we've been bringing that elemental tell like idea of like, can you look at this character and have an idea of like what they're connected with in some way, shape, or form? And I feel like you mentioned there's nothing there. There's nothing there that says pyro to me in any way, except on her animation when her bow starts to glow, and there's some of that there. I
Yeah, I
will
mean,
say
to
that
be
gets
honest, her
tied in
alt
there.
animation, she's literally like it shows that she's fire. Like her alt,
Yeah.
because
It's
it
a
has like
fire
an
tornado.
aura.
It's a fire
Yeah,
tornado or something like that. Yeah.
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 So like
So just for
it is there to
clarity,
some degree. But when we're talking about like Jianxin's design, where we have that arrow kind of incorporated into the design in arguably like we established like the perfect way, like Encore doesn't have any of that. Like
I would say that if we were just to say, because I think I understand where you're coming from and where you're going. Because it sounds to me you're basically saying if we were just going based on clothing alone, right? Which we're not. Because like I said, I think her hair is really cool and her eyes are really cool. But if we were just going on her clothing alone, you could make an argument for putting her like in C tier with Rover.
only because like I started looking at who do we have in B tier. And now I'm doing
Mhm.
comparisons, right? Because
Yeah,
that's what we've been kind of putting a hierarchy together here. And I'm like, would I put her above Baizhi? Like, I don't think
I
I
would.
would. Like,
Like I said,
I
I would. When you
I would
consider
not.
the whole character in terms of her animations, like let's be honest here. Like if we're talking about the whole character, animations, yeah, maybe the dress, whatever, but her hair was cool. Her eyes, like I think her eyes are a cool design. The concept of her design, and then you include animations on top of that. I don't think that's genuine or fair, personally, to say that like she's below Baiji. Like I said, she looks good, but I'm just like design. Like I think that's when we talk about bias showing, that has to be bias showing, bro. Because like even if it was a taller character with that, like you put Ling Yang over Baiji. Are you, so you're telling me you're gonna
Yeah.
put Ling Yang over Baiji with like what he's got going on? I don't know, man. That's a little bit. I think that's a stretch.
I
No,
think
because I
I
thought Ling Yang's outfit was on point, and I thought his animations were on point, and I was able
Mhm.
to remove him being a slightly younger character as like a problem because I do think they executed on everything else very, very well. So that's why I still put him above. I'm saying
Okay.
I don't think they executed on Encore's outfit very well. I don't think they incorporated the element of her very well, and then I've got a little bit of the bias of her being like a younger character who based on some of the feedback of the design, we thought maybe she's a little more limited in her space because of her character being a younger character. Felt like it just added to my argument even more. Where I'm like, yeah, like that feels like I'm pushing it. I understand it feels like it might be going really hard on you, so
No, because the
I'll
thing
back
is,
off
no,
with.
no, it's totally fine. I'm just saying,
Hold on. I was gonna back off with this. This isn't my tier list. So,
yeah.
and I understand you
This
do
is
really like
our
those
tier
components.
list.
Exactly. I said it before, and so I will accept that now. That like I'm not gonna advocate for C. I know you like the character way more than that. So like I'm not gonna try and sue her encore
yeah,
here.
that's why I
And the
said
thing
You're
like
gonna
if
piss off
is,
the
he
man.
felt fair, like in general, like because I think like when you also have to weigh like again like right, and this is just from a fashion standpoint when you're like actually weighing an like a entire thing right, and you're looking
mhm.
from head to toe. character, what a person has on, the clothing is usually the biggest component, like that gets weighed.
Yeah.
Like they can say like you might have gotten some extra points off of like the hairstyle, or if you use a certain type of makeup. But usually what they're looking at is the base of everything. Like what does the top look like? What does the pants look like?
Oh.
Stuff like that. So I feel like that's why for me I was like I felt like B would be fair if it was just purely based off of design, because even the animation kind of goes more into like the combat portion in a sense still.
I don't think so.
Uh,
I don't think animation, because we've considered animation for a lot of characters, and like combat is just what they do on paper, right? Like that combat is what they do on paper, how fast their animations hit.
I'm
If the
only saying that
design,
because I would have rated, like for example, if we were doing combat, I would have rated Taoqi higher just off her ultimate alone. Like, so
Mhm.
like so that's why I try to separate the two, just because it doesn't necessarily represent their like what they're looking like in their idol, or when you're just rotating around and walking around and running around the open
Mhm.
world. Those are like more specific to a specific thing versus like when you first see the character, what do they,
But we also mentioned for Kakarot, for example, we talked about his stand, which you would not see unless he was in combat.
yeah, but
So
Yeah, no,
even with
we definitely gave some points to
yeah,
animations because that is a component of the character. I just think it's not fair to include any like abilities and stuff for the kit, which I do think you were bringing some of that into. I think on your assessment of Encore, like you were talking about her abilities and the complexity and the things that went along with it. Where like
yeah.
if I'm limiting to trying to scale that part back to like
Okay.
just simply animations, they're good, and that's why I've acknowledged multiple times they are good. The alt animation and the combat is good. That's not the heaviest weight part when we're talking about a design of a character, though.
And I will just say this too. I think her shoes are really cute, personally, like the shoes, and I think that's the thing that, like I said, when we talk about like bias or whatever, I would be interested personally, and for any women we have watching, what are you all's thoughts on this character? Just because of the fact, I think, like I said, my wife, for example, she thought Encore was adorable, like absolutely adorable, and so
yeah,
to
yeah,
some, that's what I'm saying. Like we have this perspective, but I think some people would, maybe it might just be our eyes and our kind of perspective. Obviously, it is the Rover Cast, right? But it's just like some people would look at her outfit and be like, "You guys are crazy. She is adorable. Her dress is cute."
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
The way that it
I
works with
could
the little
easily.
shoes and all that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, yeah,
I can easily say she's cute. That to me, that's easy to say. I can be like, oh yeah,
yeah.
she's adorable. Do I think she's the best design character in the game? Not even close. When we're
Mhm.
looking at the other roster and the characters that we've been looking at, like nah, I don't think so.
So
I got you.
far from dissecting all this, the pink-haired characters are missing something, and they're the
Mm,
only two, I think. Right?
yeah,
They're
yeah.
missing something to make their
I
designs
think maybe they
just pop a
said the
little
pink
bit
hair
more.
carries them too much. They'd be
Maybe
OP otherwise.
honestly, maybe they could go for like one more like color to add to the design.
I don't like. I said,
It's
I
Like
don't
true.
even
like
think.
a pink and like baby blue for Encore because of her eyes. She has a little bit of blue in there. They could put
Yeah.
a little bit of blue somewhere, right? Taoqi, I don't know what color we could go with that, but like just like
Well,
Like I said, for me, it was
we ended
just
up
the
landing on a.
clothing.
it could be the
Yeah,
clothing.
I thought we landed on a better place with Tachi. Like, because
We
our
did,
time
we
jump is
did.
showing there.
did.
After we re-looked at her new design, I think we landed
Yeah.
on a better place of like, actually, she had way more than we.
It is
We had
better. It's
saw
a
it,
million
but-
% better, but it still felt like. Listen, Taoqi is one of my favorite characters in the game. Do you know
Mine
how much
too.
I would love to put her at S tier? But I can't because there's something missing.
Yeah, that's
And
what I'm saying.
so, okay, so let's kind of get past the encore. We knew the encore was going to be a controversial
A
thing.
good one.
I think it's fair to
That's a
say
good
low A, just because combining what all of us have kind of said. I think low A is a fair take. Like I said, y'all were about to put her in B. I think it's. I know.
Yeah, because I said A, the B.
I
or
forgot what I
something like
said.
that, so, yeah.
You were saying A, I believe.
I did? A?
Yeah, I think you did.
I think I said low A, high B. I think that's what
Okay,
I said.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Okay, I think that's
So that's what I'm
we're
saying.
good.
Collectively,
So high B then? That's what we're saying?
Yeah, it was fun.
Look, like I said, this is our tier list. Like I
Yeah.
said, I was willing
I mean-
to accept a higher placement than I would put her.
I mean,
And
bro,
I'll
this
just
is
leave it at that.
definitely higher. This is like 2 tiers.
I'm just gonna be
Um,
waiting for Connor's follow-up video. So yeah, guys, by the way, just for that one part where we pick Encore, I'm gonna give you the real tea as to why she's rated D.
I'll do like
Honestly.
a short, a YouTube short that's just me going, "Hey guys, I just want to show you what I would do differently on my tier list," and it's just me taking her off of the tier
Oh
list.
my gosh, yo, she didn't do nothing wrong to nobody.
I know. I go a little extra
yeah.
hard because you really like her, but I think
Nah.
it's a. I think
I
we had
can't
some
wait
fair.
for I can't wait for the
assessment.
combat tier list though, because y'all are gonna see the truth.
Ooh.
Y'all are gonna be like, yo,
No,
this
that's
character.
fair. That's fair.
Yeah, no, I know. All right, y'all. Big stuff happening. Big stuff happening. So y'all already know where we are.
This should be easy, honestly.
Yeah, it should be
It really
easy.
should.
Okay, so who do we start with though?
Just go ahead, rip that Jiyan.
All right.
Honestly,
Band-Aid
like
off.
I was gonna
could
say
end it right now.
Yinlin. Okay, let me do Yinlin first. Because if I'm gonna be 100% honest with you guys, I actually think Jiyan's gonna be far more popular than Yinlin.
Really?
Yeah, without a shadow. Because I think Jiyan is gonna be popular with everybody. Like, there's gonna be, a lot of guys and stuff who are gonna be like, oh yeah, Yinlin, and there'll be some of the women too. But I think Jiyan is just like across the board, just going to eclipse the whole cast. That's just my personal.
Are we talking about combat or design here? Because I feel like we're branched into it.
Well, yeah, basically just people's favorite characters, like like the Hu Taos of the world, and like just who's the most popular character across the entire cast. I just feel like Jiyan has kind of cemented a spot for himself at that, and I see that like.
To be fair, I see a lot more Jiyan fan pages than Yinlin. I really
That's what I'm saying.
Like, there's a
Jiyan
lot.
has just become like, he's at a different tier right now. I'm telling y'all, like he's going to be.
Well, he's a little biased because he's been like the flagship character for.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's been the face
for good reason. It's for good reason.
And there's 100% there's combat bias there too, though. Like I don't think it's solely just design that pushes him up. I think 100% people are looking at like his kit and him using this sick spear that goes along with it.
2 ultimates,
the dragons, 2 ultimates. Like there are things there that like 100% pushes him up there. So like, look, here's the deal. I think I'm gonna make a call here. I feel like all of us think Yinling, unless maybe not, and Jiyan are both S tier.
Yes, 100%.
I think it's a conversation of
no hesitation.
Who's above who.
I am not hesitating on that.
Let's just put them here first, right? And now that we have them there, let's make it quick. But you can go first, Connor. Oh,
I think Yinlin.
Can't let you talk about Yinlin.
Hold on. You might be surprised. I would put her bottom of S. I think she's great. I love her character design. Love the yandere parts. Love it. I don't think she's the best designed character though. I don't. I love it. I don't think she's the best. So I'm fine with putting her bottom of S. 100% I would put Jiyan above her.
That's really interesting. Because the thing is, for me, right? I think her design is amazing. I love Little One, the little puppet, right? Little One is what she calls it. I think it's so cool. But then you see Kakarot with a whole stand, and it's just like, dang it. It's like similar to Encore, where it's like she had that uniqueness of being like black and white yin yang, and then Jianxin comes in, and it's just like, you're not unique in that way anymore. So yeah, man. Gosh, that's so hard. Oh gosh, that's so difficult.
It makes like you talking about Encore is how I talk about Yinling. We're like, I love this character, and it makes me sad to have to say I think she's bottom of S.
That's how I feel about Taoqi. That's how I feel about Taoqi.
Fair enough. She's still S tier. I think Jianxin.
Okay, so
who's top of S?
Kakarot or Yinlin then? Kakarot or Yinlin? Who's
Jiyan is ahead of Kakarot. I feel like
no. We're not talking about Jiyan. We're just talking about Yinlin. So Kakarot, Yinlin.
Kakarot still has a better. Kakarot, in my opinion, has a better design. Honestly,
kinda. Yeah.
It's just too much.
It's
like
crazy.
The dude wins just off of his hair alone, which is just like, it is like, again, like I still think it goes to say she is still an amazingly
100%.
designed character. Like I don't fault her really for much, if anything at all. It's just, again, when you're comparing like gold to gold, we now have to start looking at how much the gold weighs. So it's like, so it's like that's kind of what ends up that was low-key a bar. I just thought of that on the spot.
That was
too.
bars.
Crazy. But yeah, I feel like it's that, man. Like I just feel like it's also part what we know as well and what we've seen. I feel like once we probably see more of her and like some other aspects of like her design and things of that nature, then we'll probably have maybe a different bias to work off of. But I
Mhm.
feel like so far for what we've even seen with even Kakarot, I just don't see her. I don't see her above him and or even Jianxin, honestly. Like I
All
just
right,
feel like
no, hey, look, that's totally fair, man.
I really like Yinlin a lot.
like
Okay.
I was gonna say, honestly, I'm
Like,
looking
a
at her
lot.
redesign again. I'm
You
looking
you
at
like her?
Bro, like, dude, okay, so she had crazy glow up, man. Like she went from
She did.
just a plain red and black like palette to red, black, gold with like a hint of like some purples in there, you know?
Mhm.
And they really, I mean, they're definitely showing a lot more skin in her like newest one. But dude, I don't know, man. Like it looks so good.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
you know
me,
what?
I could have done without the
It's
skin,
so
but
hard
yeah,
to be unbiased on the comp. Like I had a lot of fun using her in the game in CBT
yeah,
one. I had a blast, man. I was maining her. I was using her. It was great.
same here. She was extremely fun to play.
She was so much fun, and it's hard because I've used Yinlin and Jiyan. I know how they feel. I know how they work. I mean, Jiyan's had the same design. I still like his design a lot.
Mhm.
But Kakarot and Jianxin, like I haven't tried them out, so they have that unfair advantage, you know?
I'm looking at her redesign too.
Her redesign, honestly, bro, like she actually got a glow up.
Y'all might have actually.
She got a glow up from CBT 1 to CBT 2. And Jianxin, this is her glow up. She's not gonna change. This is her permanently.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man.
I think that might have been a little bit of an L take.
If it was my personal like a tier list, I would have put Yinlin at the top. That's me though. That's me.
Yeah, I'm looking at all the different design choices they gave her.
But I have a lot of unbiased towards that
because
because
her,
I've tried
face
it.
even looks better.
Her face looks a
even
lot better. 100%. Her face looks
Yeah.
better.
She has all these ornaments, the chains.
She has more
like-
ornaments. There's hints of gold on the ornaments. They did a
Okay.
lot of detailing on her.
I'm putting her above Kakarot at least. I'm
Yeah,
putting her above
that's
Kakarot.
what I was gonna say. I
I'm
100%.
so sorry. I'm so sorry.
No,
Oh my
legit.
God.
There's nothing to apologize for. I'm disappointed that I put her so low. I was
because
unfaithful.
Kakarot's design is sick. It's
It
good.
is.
But like
Hers is like drop dead gorgeous
but
though.
like she has more
jeez.
color. She has a lot more
Yeah.
color, you know, like
I
don't
love
know.
the design of the little hair pick thing.
It's
Yeah.
hard. It's hard. These characters are really good.
They
Like,
cooked.
they all
they
look great.
cooked so much. They were like, no, you guys are going to pull this character. Like, we're not even gonna give you an option.
That's the easiest pull in my life. I'm gonna be
Like
bowling.
we are no longer, honestly, one of my things, who knows, by the time the game comes out, if
Damn.
the channel is like monetized and we're doing some really great stuff on the channel and I can afford to spend some stuff, I'm trying to get her at least first copy. Cause I remember her back, depending on how her kit changes, because her first copy lets you use your skill twice.
Yes.
And it was
Mhm.
just like,
It was so much
felt
fun.
so good.
Yeah, it felt
It was
good.
just like
and
slam dunk,
you were able to
slam
get
dunk.
you were able to get the ult a lot faster too.
Yeah. Yeah. So Zox, did you have any final words on Yinlin before we go over to Jiyan?
No, honestly, I gotta say you guys gave some pretty valid arguments. I feel like I think again you're comparing really good units to each other, so that is really rough. But yeah, I could definitely take a knee on Kakarot being shifted below her. I don't have that much bias towards him where it like is like he has to be above her kind of thing. But yeah, I think like she definitely does have more color. And that definitely
Yeah, and it's
does
not even
make
just
that
color.
play,
I think
too.
when you combine like just what her kit, like I said, even Little One, right? Because Little One is a part of her kit. It's almost like comparing like Fischl from Genshin, like with Oz.
With
Oz is
Oz,
a part
yeah.
of her kit, or Guoba is a part of, so like Little One is a part of her kit in the same way that we can't talk about Kakarot Stand and not talk about Little One, right? And Little One is like pretty sick. Once you see like, I remember when I was playing CVT1, I slowed down the end, like paid very close attention to all the things that Little One did, and it was so cool.
Mhm.
Like it was, I had to take like it happened so fast, so you had to position the camera a certain way to see because she throws Little One out so far. But like it was, yeah, it was pretty cool. So all in all, yeah, Yinlin definitely cooked. They cooked with her. So Jiyan. Okay, everybody. So hot take time.
I got.
Hot
I'm
take
gonna. I'm
time.
just gonna say. I feel like Jiyan is like second on the list, bro. Like, and here's my thing, right? They did
Ah.
extremely well with Jiyan's like layering, but I
Mm,
also feel like if it stands for anything, they gave this guy so much, right? Like, and I think that could also be a argument against what I'm saying is that they might have given him too much stuff
Mhm.
because he has like it's kind of like almost like even like that play into color. Like they have like even the theme of what he is, like the dragon theme. He has the really long hair. He has like the long flowy clothing. His gauntlets are sick. The green and gold is just insane. You clearly can tell what attribute he is.
mhm,
Even kind of bringing that aspect up. I feel like even down to how he utilizes his weapon. I think like even in the CBT, a lot of people didn't realize at first that he actually is a great sword user,
Mhm.
and they just thought he was a spear user. So even the play into like his weapon layering and how they had allowed him to have kind of like this base weapon design choice, but then you would still see the other weapon come out. And it's just like, okay, like they're really cooking on this dude when we're talking about a premier unit of his style, right? And I feel like in comparison to the other, because these are all, from what it seems, if I'm not mistaken, they're all 5 stars. For out of all of the 5 stars, it's also kind of hard not to talk about his animations because that also kind of seems to be a huge play into even the design choice they made with him, where he's doing all of this like what I would call like spear spinning and like dancing and twirling and stuff like that. And they really played into like how his clothes kind of rotate with him, and he doesn't have like these tight clothes on, but it's more free form for that form of movement that he's doing. And then even down, like I said, to his hair. His hair is also rotating with him. It's just visually so like he's just a visually appealing character. It's really hard for me to put Yinlin over him without seeing 100% what she's going to be in CBT2. Like I think like we have like the idea of her clothing at this point to some degree, but we haven't gotten any of the visuals really, and I think that could really make a big determinant factor in whether or not she scales higher than him, because that so far from what we have with him, we've already been able to even see from the showcase that they did, even the massive changes that they made to when his dragon comes out. The dragon even looks better now. Like it just I don't know. I feel like everybody seems to have had that one character that they really liked. This is the guy. Like I think I played 99% of the beta with only him. Like that was just kind of my main character I decided to pick. But yeah,
So just for clarity, you would basically put him in second place, right?
I would put him second. I would,
Okay, and that's fair.
but I'm not against him not being second though, because I think that second slot, that's a really tough slot. Like that
Mm.
really is a tough slot for me. Be
Yeah, I mean,
honest.
no worries, bro. So, what about you, Lobo?
Man, Jiyan is just there's just so much to go over with him. But so, oh man, I don't want to bring this game up, man. But my favorite character in Genshin is Zhao. Okay, I have a thing. I don't know if I should have said that or not. I'll cut it
Nah,
out.
you're good, bro. You're good.
Disclaimer: Shao and Jian are not the same character.
Yeah, they are not
They're
the
two
same.
different.
They're two different characters, but
From a shared cultural heritage.
exactly. And
And Zhao gives you vertigo.
ex-
I don't want that.
their gameplay is completely different, but he has like the pole arm. I like the pole arm kind of vibe, and then like he has Jiyan has so much like unique to his kit, like the sword, the long sword. He could throw it down. It's just like he's just like he kicks his freaking pole arm. There is so much.
He can parkour over goats.
Yes, foe exhausted, me ready. Like, come on, man. This guy is freaking amazing. The number one thing that I want to say, my favorite thing about just Jiyan in general, I love the placement of his resonator mark. I freaking love. I love that it's on his spine. That sold me. Like I was like, man, that's so cool.
Is it like he's like the backbone of the
like
the army?
I don't know if the placement has to do with anything, but if it's on his spine, the dude has gone through a lot of pain because that's like the most sensitive part of your body. I would assume, right? Like having it back there, like like it's insane.
Yeah, definitely high up there in the tier list.
Yeah. I don't know. I really like Yinlin more still, just because her design is just, man, and Kakarot is so cool too. I don't know, man. It's so hard to pick between.
Loba.
I think I hate to do it, but I think he's higher than Kakarot.
You hate to do it. I got you.
Okay, so below Yinlin though.
Below Yinlin, higher than Kakarot. Okay, got it. Interesting.
I will be maining every single character, so do not get mad at me.
I don't think you understand what main
I got into this tier list. I got into this tier list prepared to hate anybody who has a different opinion than mine. All right, your go, Connor.
On a side note, this is the last episode of the Rover Cast. Thank you all for watching. Look.
There's always one.
Just rip the Band-Aid off.
There's always one, and it's always Connor.
Just do it.
No, look, I'm not gonna waste anybody else's time here. We all know how we feel about Jiyan, and everyone's seen him. He's been in countless promotional content material. We don't need to do a full breakdown here. So I'll just land on, I'm a sucker for red hair, and I'm a sucker for Yinlin, so I'm probably going to put her above Jiyan too. People can disagree, but I'm sorry if I'm being cringe about it. Like, bark.
Okay, so I'm going to just say this. Okay.
I'm just kidding. She reminds me so much of Vera Garnet from PGR. For those of you that have played, I'm a huge Vera fan in PGR. There's a lot of that carried over here. A lot of positive things. I really like Yinlin. So you know what? Yeah. I disrespected her too much before by putting her at the bottom of S. I'm bumping her up.
You gotta make it up for it.
I'm a loyal dog. Okay. I'm a loyal dog. So.
Oh my gosh, y'all. Once again, if I didn't have to say it the first time, I'll say it again. Or in case I need to say it again from the first time, this is the Rover Cast tier list. This is our collective tier list, no individual. So if you guys, don't agree at the end of the day, it's okay. And your personal tier list is very much still valid.
You don't like our tier list? Make your own tier list. That's what.
Or let us know your tier list in the comment section. If you feel like we're just bad at making tier lists, just do it and tell us the right way.
Fight me in the comments.
To be honest, this is my actual first tier list I've ever made in my life.
Really?
Yes, I've never made a tier list before.
Same here, bro. Same here. I'm about to say this is the separation of the veteran content creators versus the novice. Okay, so my take. So far we have 2 behind Yinlin and 1 ahead of Yinlin, if I'm correct, yeah. And so now I am the tiebreaker. So because I don't like Connor,
I think Yinlin ahead is winning. We've got 2 ahead and 1 behind. So
So I'm the tie maker. That is correct. I am the tie maker in the event that I choose to. But because I don't like Connor, I have, like, by virtue of that fact alone, I have to choose opposite. I feel like there's just become this thing where it's just like me and Connor just can't be on the same page.
I can't help it that you've got a terrible taste in characters with Encore.
It's the problem with that statement is that what you don't realize is that you can't help, not that your perception of my bad taste, but you can't look past your bias. And so as a result, you have a poor perception of what I consider, or not even just what I consider, what's objectively valuable. But it's okay, though, because there's grace for that. Gosh, between him and her, they're like the epitome of what they represent in a way, Like, they're legitimately like the peak. They're the peak of what they represent. Like, as far as the guys, he is just the top. As far as the women, she is just about there. And honestly, like I said, her and Jianxin could very much be switched. Even at this point, I think you could definitely make an argument for both people based on just personal taste. And I get that's really what you want at the end of the day, is to be able to do that. They gave her elf ears too. They were just like, they really did not want to make this easy for anybody. They were just like, we're gonna make it even better. We're gonna give her pointy elf ears, and so she's gonna have that like exotic thing or whatever. It's just like they didn't want to give anybody a choice. They really just like,
And
you thought you
also,
could skip.
We haven't even seen yet all the PVs for these 4.
Oh my gosh!
We've only seen.
You think she's gonna get? She probably will.
They have
oh
to,
my
bro.
gosh.
They
Yeah,
have
you're right.
to. The Jiyan has to get one too, for sure.
And
But like, we've only seen Jianxin's, and like that, phenomenal. Like it was just
No.
beautiful, right? And
it was like a slice of life sort of thing.
Yeah.
But the quality was very good.
Top
like
notch.
I was so impressed with the animations. One thing I always like to say, just because I noticed this about myself, like my ears like are kind of pointy, right? So when I was younger, I was like, why do my ears do that? And so me and Yinlin kind of share that.
Are you an elf?
We don't talk about that on camera. When the camera rolls, cuts, we'll have a conversation. If you're willing to pay, that is. No, seriously. Between the two, who's at higher? This is extremely difficult. I think this was a fool's errand trying to even make this decision. But gosh, I'm just trying to think of all together. His whole kit sick, her whole kit sick. You know what? Y'all, I apologize. Flame me in the comments, but I might take the punk route and just tie it up. So that way there's no actual answer. And just be like, oh, you know what?
It's hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, and brain cells I'm trying to utilize to
like legit, man. This is so difficult.
I'm not mad. It's okay.
Because the thing is, I feel like if I choose her, it's gonna be like, oh, you're just a simp. And then if I choose him, it's just gonna be like, oh, you're just choosing him because he's a guy.
You're just a simp.
Yeah, basically, yes, exactly. You're just a simp. So it's like there's no winning. So,
Sorry,
yeah.
life. You're a simp if you do, a simp if you don't.
I shouldn't have chosen.
What it
I
is.
should not have allowed myself to be the final one. I should have put this decision on one of you guys. But you know what? I'll take the responsibility. Okay, so if I were to be 100%, let's see, I'm going with her.
Okay. Yeah, no, honestly, like I said, I'm not opposed
and
to
let me
it. I feel like they're both really.
and let
well
me tell
done.
you why. A couple reasons. I had access to both of them, and this is gonna sound crazy. I enjoy Yinlin more gameplay wise, and I know this isn't a gameplay thing, so it's very difficult.
Mhm.
But if I were to think about animations, I enjoyed her animations more. I really liked how the little one thing. I love the slam. I call it a slam dunk because that's what it felt like when you're playing and you use her skill. Boom! Like it's just so impactful. And so like I love those animations. I remember her ultimate animation was like top tier. Like I thought that dome thing with the electricity, I thought it was better. Like and it's crazy. I didn't even play with Jiyan as much. Like I played with him quite a good bit, and him with Mortefi and Jueyuan was like a really fun team for me. But Yinlin was just like almost like a cover character, where it's just like she just felt amazing to play. And I'm trying to take all that stuff out, but just the little ones animations, because you're getting two different animations. You're getting hers, and also if you notice at the end of every time she attacks, she has like a little different ending animation. And there's this one animation where she basically like is sitting in like a chair pose while little one is holding her up with all its different limbs. So like, yeah. If I'm really thinking about everything all together, because we said animations count, so okay. Even with his new one, it's still sick, but I think it's just a concept thing, and that's all I say. You can kind of see a trend with me with concepts, right? Like I like Encore's concept, and if I were to talk about concepts between Yinlin and Jiyan, I think Yinlin's concept was a little bit more appealing to me.
Life just really likes the concept of being stepped on by a tall woman, so it's
my
very
God.
clear.
Oh my gosh. Okay. No, babe, I promise. No, it's not true. It's not true.
Don't worry, you're not the only one. You're not alone.
No, so yeah, I think we this is a rapid fire, everybody. This is like super silly. We put some of the bosses and also some of the echoes here. So we're just gonna do a quick rapid fire, super silly, not taking any like serious nature in any of it, but it's just for fun. So first thing, we have the Gold Puff. What are you all's takes? What are we in terms of looks? What are we ranking Mr. Gold Puff here?
Could you add a double S tier for me? I'd appreciate if you just slot them in.
Yeah.
Fair.
Base Connor.
Fair. We'll put We'll put him in S tier, easy. Let's put so this right here is base form, Mr. Dancing Turtle, but he has red eyes. So it's kind of like one of those like mess around and find out. Like, don't get too close. Like, I know you're trying to catch me, but it's not gonna work. So in terms of base form,
I will put it next to Encore because of how long we took to. Everybody was angry there.
Okay, you know what? I love that. I love that answer. We have, let's see. This is the giant tortoise boss right here.
Ooh.
So as far as that goes, and actually I like this idea. We'll just do one person at a time. So Zox, what do you think about the giant tortoise boss? Where are we putting that on the tier list?
I like bells a lot. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're just gonna drop that in an S tier. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, S tier, fair.
No.
All right, so this one, I'm gonna have to say, this is, I think, is a very easy one. This is the shiny Echo Turtle. We even have a GIF for it, and so I think this one is very clearly S tier.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Honestly, triple S plus.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
like not even just. It's not even fair. It's honestly like, you know what? I'm sorry. I gotta do it.
You
Yeah,
can.
yeah,
You can.
yeah.
I would not be mad about that.
Yeah,
That's
I gotta
amazing.
do it. All right, so this one is a little bit interesting. It is a lore sort of thing. It's the holy lady, as people call her. Really quickly, and maybe another time we can go into detail. But what are your thoughts on holy lady in terms of design choice? Don't even give your
A.
don't justify it. Just give your answer. A. Okay, what about you, Loba? You can't give your reason.
I think A is okay. Yeah,
Okay.
A is pretty solid. Yeah.
All right, what about you, Zox?
We're going with A.
All right, I'm gonna be honest. I was thinking like A-ish as well. All right, so now we have the bosses. So starting off with Harambe. I mean,
Oh my god.
starting off with the ape boss.
I'm gonna go D for Donkey Kong. So
That's good.
Based.
I'm gonna go M tier for Return to Monkey.
Oh, shoot, I love it. I love it. Okay, so we have the Moomin Rider. I mean, Inferno Rider. So what?
Let's go.
M for Moomin Rider. Actually, triple S tier for Moomin Rider, right? So Inferno Rider. What we thinking? Loba, what you got?
Man, I want to say high A. I'm just thinking because you could use him as a motorcycle when you summon him as an Echo. That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, potentially. Yeah, I think that's the hope at least. I don't know if it's confirmed, but it looked that way in the trailer.
You were able to do that in CBT1.
In CBT1, yeah.
Yeah, you were able to do that.
You can long-term ride with him though, right?
No, it was just like a short, like it's like
a little animation. Yeah,
there was like a cooldown for it.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Hey, what about Scar? What are our thoughts? Gosh, we should have brought him, but what are our thoughts?
We're so screwed here because
he's S tier.
Yeah,
dude.
100%.
We're putting him S tier.
Easy dub.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say high A tier just because I'm not the biggest fan of his cowboy chops. Like the pants he has, I think it's kind of like I think everything besides his pants is all right. But once you get to his pants, he starts looking a little bit silly. It's like an old back in the day motorcycle stunt person design. And so I was just like, the pants weren't really doing it for me personally.
Maybe he has a connection to the Echo that has a motorcycle. Now that you say that,
just because the clothes.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
But for me, I would put him in A tier personally. So you're going S, Loba.
Yeah.
Zoxy said S.
Yeah.
What about you, Connor?
Yeah, I think bottom S is fine. I like Gambit.
Okay. And I like the cards. I like the cards. It's just his pants. I'm just not the biggest fan of his pants. But
yeah.
All right. Let's see. We have.
Yeah, that one.
We got the conductor lady from the trailer. Where are we at with this one?
We haven't had a lot of close-ups of her, but from what we've seen and what I'm imagining, I would put her above Scar.
Yeah,
okay.
she's
pretty they seem
like I like the twin tails too. I like characters with twin tails, so I'll give her that. We have our good friend. So I couldn't find the Morning Ajax, which is a boss, the Morning Ajax, boss of the game. And then there's also not the Morning Ajax. That one's kind of like a bird one. But there's an ice one, and I don't know what it's called. I forgot what it's called. But that's the ice one, not the Morning Ajax. It's the ice one. And it looks kind of like a mosquito a bit. And so we just have this right here because I couldn't find a picture of it immediately. So what do you guys think of that ice mosquito-esque boss?
I'm gonna go M tier for mosquito.
M for mosquito. Okay, well, you know what? We'll put him in D because eventually he'll find his way when we make more letters. So lastly, we have two more. And to be honest, so this was a character that was shown in some of the trailers. I don't know if she's still a character or not, or if she got reworked to looks like a different character. That's just kind of one of those things where we have to wait and find out. But providing she has not changed and that she still exists as a character, what are you guys thinking about this character right here? For those of you all who have seen her in the trailer that she shows up in like a very early trailer.
I'm gonna go A tier.
A tier?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I actually liked her design when I seen it
Yeah.
originally. Yeah.
I would say for myself, I would say, gosh, I kind of almost want to put her in S tier, but I'll put her high A. Like I honestly wouldn't be mad at putting her in S, but it's very, very personal reason because she just looks cozy. I know that sounds weird, but like I liked her design a lot, and even like with the bow in her hair, it just kind of gave me like Alice in Wonderland vibes a little bit, and it was just like just a cozy thing. But yeah, I could take high A.
She's got some.
She's good. She's got some great ornaments. Like we know we've gone on long enough. I think she's good. I don't think I'd put her above like Danjin though. Like I'd say like mid A.
She has like clear white eyes though. Like,
no, she's great.
So cool.
She's great. That's why I'm saying like I'm like a mid A based on our list there.
Okay, I got you.
I think I could go with that too.
All right, well, we'll put her like maybe right beside Ling Yang then. Okay, cool. So last but not least, we had two apes. So all right.
Return to monkey.
Double time.
Crownless?
Crownless.
Bro.
What a fitting end. We end where the game begins. What are we thinking about Crownless's design? He's the first boss that you fight when you start the game, as long as it's the same thing, with the story being changed. What are our thoughts on Crownless?
C tier for Crownless. No, I'm kidding.
I was gonna say S tier.
Really?
I think he's so cool.
Yeah. Okay.
Like
fair,
the way
fair.
they introduced him, like, oh man, he's just
100%.
Yeah, he was clapping everybody.
Yeah,
like
man.
Yeah, he was doing
just,
people dirty.
And he has swagger too. Like bro has like a swagger in his movement.
He basically kind of has two different fighting styles too. He's like a puncher or pugilist, or he fights like Yuanwu more or less, around there.
And then he goes all spear flying mode.
Yeah. He's freaking cool.
Yeah, I agree with Loba.
Okay, so S tier.
You know what you've messed up on? You should have put this is the old design, right?
Yeah, this is the old design. Yeah.
I like the red. I'm biased. I like red more. The red's my favorite color than the purple. But since we're just doing that, that's fine. We could. I'm good
and I'm about to say, I just realized that there were a couple ones. I had some trouble finding some of the pictures, everybody. So that's why we don't have every single boss. But in the future we'll get those. So S tier. What about you, Connor? Crownless.
Sure.
You don't have an opinion on it, basically.
He looks great. I don't have a super strong opinion. Sure.
All right, so C for Crownless, based on what Connor said. And so for me, I will throw myself right in the middle. I'm gonna say, I'll say A tier. I'll say A tier. Like I even say high A tier, to be honest.
Damn.
So two S tiers, one high A tier, and a C for Crownless from Connor. So we'll put him there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the Rover Cast's wonderful tier list. I hope you guys enjoyed this. We did this just to have some fun before closed beta test 2. The idea, this should be going out like right before the thing pops off, to be honest. I don't imagine there'll be too much more time in between. So we are looking so forward to the closed beta test coming out. And everybody look forward to a lot more content from all of our channels. I know I'm sure all of us are going to be streaming it. So feel free to come through. We'll be probably streaming at different times of the day, different things like that. So feel free to come through. And as well, like I said, you already know there's going to be a Rover Cast coming out for the CBT too, so that we can kind of come together and discuss our opinions on things and where we are right now and what we're looking forward to in the future. So I'll give everybody an opportunity to briefly kind of just give your goodbyes, shout out whatever you need to shout out, and we'll go with you, Loba.
Amazing. Episode 4?
4.
4. All right. So we got episode 4 of Rover Cast. Truly honored to be here. Excited. I hope to see you guys in CBT 2 as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm basically going to be streaming it as well. You know, like I'm going to be trying to make content as well. So twitch.tv/LobaPixel on Twitch, TikTok, on YouTube, LobaPixel Gaming. I'm going to be really, really trying to just enjoy the game. I'm going to soak it all in, you know, and giving my honest feedback as well to help the devs create an even better, more polished game for final global release. So super excited. And yeah, I will see you guys there.
All right. Connor?
At Connor's Thoughts on YouTube, Encore Mains, Cope and Seeth in the comments.
What's everybody? Appreciate you guys for actually staying and sticking through the whole podcast if you got to this point. For me, you can follow me on all my platforms under Zoxuskun. For Wuthering Waves, it's Zoxuskun Wuwa. Oh my God, I can't talk. But either way, nonetheless, appreciate you guys for tuning in, man. Go ahead and take us out of here, Life.
Awesome. All right. So once again, life lessons 2. Thank you guys so much for coming through. We appreciate you. Like I said, feel free to sub to everybody, including myself. Let's get my channel to 1,000 subs, please.
Almost there.
I definitely appreciate you guys for all this. And so we will see you guys in CBT 2. Like I said, this game is going to be amazing. The community is going to be amazing. You guys have already been amazing. And like I said, please, if you got to this point in the video, please share this on your social medias. We appreciate you. Just be like, hey, check these guys out. They are going to be just taking the community by storm. Like I said, we're starting here and we're going to the moon. So until then, as always, we will catch you. Peace.